Okay, as I was mentioning, the past year has been quite a legal journey for me. And in fact, 2 months ago, I went to foreclosure sale in Lexington, where, and he's probably not supposed to do this, a judge came, a magistrate came up to me and asked me, because he noticed I already knew the judge from before, and he asked, apparently a friend of his lost a property to foreclosure at the sale 2 months ago, and I didn't know how to do anything about it because it's gone to sale. And Legal Shield, I contacted their attorneys and they told me how to overturn the sale. And so I just fed that back to the judge, and he siphoned it off to an attorney, obviously surreptitiously, you know, because he's not supposed to get involved. And sure enough, it got pulled. I should say the sale was overturned. I'd never seen that before. So the attorneys that Legal Shield uses, they're very competent, and I've discovered they're very good, and they're very affordable under the Legal Shield plan. So if we could, this is Miss Sarah Mitchell. She's actually regional manager for Legal Shield in our area. So, well, I know there's not many people here, but if we could maybe just give her a hand. So. Come on, Miss Sarah.
I'm just excited to be here, and I don't worry about the numbers. I just ask that my steps be ordered every morning, and if I'm only given one person to speak with, I'm elated, because sometimes just that one, that's the one. So again, I thank Bob, I thank all of you, and not a whole lot about me because I know I have about 10, 15 minutes here, but I've had this service since 1998, and I cannot begin to tell you how it has provided me a substantial, has saved me a substantial amount of money. I mean, from thousands of dollars to having the attorneys write dispute letters for as small as $39 when I couldn't get it resolved. And, so Bob saw the value in your industry. You're in, you know, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to educate you, and you should know by now that your industry is very litigious. It's a very litigious industry, as well as an industry that may not utilize attorneys as much as you should, but you certainly need to utilize them more. So what we do, and I'm excited, is that we get to take that financial decision out of it. When you can pick up the phone, tap it out, and speak with your law firm. So having said that, I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm really excited that Bob is now one of our representatives, meaning that he's protecting those that he come in contact with as it relates to Legal Shield, and that's coming from Midlands REIA. So I'll be very brief. If you have a question, feel free to ask. I'll still work towards staying on time for your big meeting. But again, would you agree that everybody has an app on their phone anymore? Are we an app economy? All kind of apps. It's like I don't want one more app. It takes me forever to find what I'm looking for sometimes. We are digital as well, and we have found that we are truly a digital disruptor because we don't know of anyone else with an app on their phone that will provide them instantaneous access to their law firm. It doesn't matter whether you're local or out of the country or traveling. I've used it as far as being in Hawaii, just utilizing my services here. So we're an app economy as well. Basically what I'm going to share with you tonight is the fact that what we're doing is providing powerful benefits, protecting families, we protect businesses, and we're helping benefit professionals. We go into companies and offer this as an employee benefit. Legal services and ID services, they have become one of the most sought after benefit in the employer-employee relationship. They're of the top 5, we hold 2 slots, and that's exciting, the legal and the ID theft slot there as it relates to that, and that's per SHRM's or benefit, at benefit newsletter that I get. So going on is that what have we done? We have made it simpler, easier, more affordable. But like the taxi industry, we used to do taxi. We just came back from Salt Lake City. All we did was from airport to Uber, restaurant Uber. You know, you don't even have to know where you are. You just tap and there they are. I mean, what did they do? They just disrupted an industry. They didn't change anything except the delivery system. So that's what we've done. We've changed the delivery system to where one can have affordable access. As a business owner, just ask yourself or your colleagues, do any of you have employees? Oh, okay, in the back. Jennifer, was it Jennifer?
Yes, sir.
Jennifer, she has employees. So, just ask yourself, and for those of you who have no employees, you know someone with employees, or you are an employee or were an employee. So just ask yourself, have you ever fired an employee or had collection issues as a business owner? So just put your business owner hat on at the moment. Have you been in a situation where you thought the advice of an attorney might be useful? Been in a dispute with a vendor or signed a contract? Everyone in here probably could raise their hand to one or two of these areas. It's just how it is being a business owner or affiliated with, being an entrepreneur. Statistical data, independent of Legal Shield, studies show that nearly 60% of our small business owners said they experienced a legal issue in the past 2 years. It's not about the handcuffs, but it could be where a contract issue or a foreclosure issue in your industry, or it could be hiring or moving, lease agreements, any number of things. People allege. All someone has to do is allege that you said or did something inappropriately, and now you're in a situation where you need to bring your deep pockets to the table to defend yourself. Owners report spending an average of $7,600 in legal expenses in the last, and with 20% saying they spent over $10,000. In conversation when I first met Bob, he referenced how much he had spent, and it was just all in protecting what you've worked so hard for. And that's the sad part. So here, I'm sharing with you a bundle of services, and I would like for you to see how we're helping entrepreneurs such as yourself, business owners. First, there's a home business supplement. And with this supplement, you have advice, where all you do is tap your app on your phone and your law firm is there 9 to 5 right here in Columbia, South Carolina, not going 1-800-INDIA, Googling your way to legal services. I mean, you have bona fide AV-rated lawyers there, attorneys working on your behalf. So unlimited telephone consultation. Would that give individuals peace of mind right there, knowing you can pick up the phone and call regardless to what it is? That's so helpful. I've used it. It's almost like every other month I'm calling about something, because you don't have to sweat the small stuff. So that's what you're looking at. Legal document review. Has anyone had an attorney to review a 15-page document or 4 or 5-page document within the last year or so? If so, what kind of rates are you looking at for that one review? Or if you know of anyone. What did I hear over there?
I just paid $200.
You just paid $200 to have them review a document? How many pages?
Actually, it was a note and a promissory note.
So that was very few pages,
Yeah.
possibly. Okay, 200. Anybody else have heard or used? Okay, well, you'll see how that compared to what I'm sharing with you now. That's real, and that's just for a few. Imagine if it was 15 pages. They make letters and phone call on your behalf, up to 6 letters. And this is just a scaled down version, but just keep in mind for this particular plan. There are others, but just for this particular one, you're looking at up to 6 letters per year, 1 per subject matter. Debt collection issues. Anyone know a business owner who's run into debt collection issues? It's about like, yeah, your hand went up. I can put my hands up twice, dealing with that. Here again, what if you could have your law firm write a debt collection letter on your behalf, and it's inclusive in your flat monthly fee? You're not paying additional for that. If you were to utilize collection agencies, do your research. Normally they will retain 30 to 50% of what they collect. Here, whatever the attorneys collect is yours 100%. Very powerful. Specialty matters, it can be dealing with tax, securities, intellectual property, international law, all of that part of that same flat monthly fee. IRS audit services, the beauty here as entrepreneurs, we run into audits occasionally, and if we're 1099 there, it's going to require Schedule C and Schedule E, am I correct? Well, what if you could have your law firm there to assist with that, because that's part of your coverage. That's what we're looking at. What if you could have other services to help grow that business? And Bob can, we'll talk later, he can send you a video to reiterate all of this and answer any additional questions. I'm available to do that. So this is the other component to meet the needs of Mr. Business Owner, Miss Business Owner. You have the Go Small Biz supplement. This is not attorney related, but it helps you to grow that business. A lot of business owners don't have a website. So here you can have up to a 15-page e-commerce website, the digital marketing dashboard, customer relation manager to help you with growing that business, expert web analysis, all of that bundled in your small biz family plan. HR document builder, transaction tracker, all of this. And this is coming out of Atlanta through Fran Tarkenton, who is one of the best when it comes down to helping small business owners. The other part to this, we just say, everybody really, we feel everybody needs the service because we're in such a litigious society. So that's how we feel, and I know I would not give it up under any circumstances. But what are we doing? All we're doing is giving individuals the ability to talk to a lawyer on any legal matter without worrying about the hourly cost. That's why last year our attorneys received over 4 million calls into the law firm nationwide because members didn't have to check their bank account before they made that decision. So that's what you're looking at there. This is a demo of what the app really looked like. Here again, we provide equal access to the liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. So just ask yourself, have you ever experienced one of these situations? Signed a contract. This is on the personal side. Prior to now, I was referencing your business protection. This is reaching out to you as a family or an individual. Signed a contract, had a landlord or tenant issue. That can go either way. Been overcharged or treated unfairly, or received a traffic ticket. I've used that area as well, not criminal, but you know, when I got the ticket in Myrtle Beach and they were able to negotiate my points, negotiate my fine, I was ecstatic because I wasn't going back to Horry County to deal with that 4-point ticket. Yet that certainly saved my insurance from going up and to the right. So I was happy. Have you ever been concerned about your identity or your child's identity? Had a real estate transaction, need to prepare your will. These are just normal day-to-day type situations that could lend to one wanting to use an attorney, but because of the cost, you may not. Here again, what do you get for you and your family? Do any of you have children? Living at home? Away in college? Okay, great. Keep in mind, excuse me, this family plan, it covers your children. Bob, may I have some water, please? I am dealing with severe allergies. Do you know anyone who have allergies every quarter? True story. Every season it changes, and it's like I know when it's changing by all the things. It's like, God, Lord, why me? But I guess he figured I can handle it. but it's like summer, spring, now it's October. I knew it was October before it even got here, I could just tell. So that's where I am, but it's all good. But this is for you and your family. If you have that child away in college, arming them with an app on their phone, so if something were to happen on campus, if something were to happen at a game, they can tap the app and not have their rights violated. So here again, what do you get as a family? You have unlimited telephone consultation, meaning it doesn't matter what it is, you tap your app, you call your law firm. They write letters on your behalf and make phone calls on your behalf, or they're going to advise you on the next step that you need to take based on that discussion, that consultation. Here again, personal document review as it relates to the family. Our mortgage company just went into bankruptcy about 4 or 5 months ago. If any of you were with DITEC, you probably received the same letter that we received, and it was like, okay, what does this mean? But you know, my husband and I, we didn't have to discuss it or call anyone. We just called the law firm, and they went right through it and explained everything. You know, we didn't have anything to worry about. But what if You know, so again, that was immediate peace of mind, protection, and security right there. So they review those. Here again, you have IRS audit representation as it relates to a family, and that's dealing with a W-2, not your 1099. Civil trial defense, I could go on and on with stories about that. That's part of your coverage. It starts with 60 hours of civil trial defense your first year, and it increases each year. It caps your 5th year at 300 hours of civil suit representation. Is that huge, or is that huge? And all of that is for that one flat monthly fee. Family domestic services. Just sent information to a gentleman who was referred to me by his cousin tonight, going through an uncontested divorce. All he has to do is wait 90 days. He's already waited this long. Thank you, Bob. So 90 days, now he'll be able to utilize the service for an uncontested divorce without having to pay all of the hundreds of dollars. Do you know anyone who's had to pay for an uncontested divorce? Yeah, but here this is inclusive. Thank you, Bob. So that's what you're looking at there. We have a 24-hour emergency situation where if you, bless you, your child, any covered member were to use the service, have an emergency 24/7, you can tap the app and you're now talking with your law firm. That's what you're looking at there. That's the power, and it's just huge. You can see, again, if you should get a traffic ticket, you just take a picture of the ticket, it goes straight to your law firm. They call you within 4 hours to get additional details and work toward negotiating the points you find and anything else they can do to help you in that given situation. Many business owners, professionals, according to statistics, 70% of North Americans do not have a current will. Here again, we provide you a current, you can have a current will, living will, update your will, healthcare power of attorney, durable power of attorney. All of that is inclusive. When we're in certain industries, based on assets changing, it's important that you look at modifying that will, revising that will. So that's what we do. Then we have a 25% only category. We call that the crown jewel catch-all. It could be murder, rape, bankruptcy, DUI. Those services, should one utilize the law firm, they get a 25% discount there. So don't want to mislead the product there. So contingency plans, that's part of your coverage as well. Who's covered? You're covered. The spouse or significant other, all children living at home up to the age of 26 or away in college or have been deported, they would be covered. If you were to become the guardian of a child, they're covered up to age 18, living at home. And if it's an adult that's physical or mentally challenged, they're covered regardless of age, living with that parent. So, here the question is, Sharon, we all have attorney friends and all. I have several different disciplines, in-state and out-of-state. However, they can't pro bono everything either, so they can't give you a discount, but so much. Here, this is another way to look at how you can have those services. So do you pay $250 an hour, or would you like to have all of what I shared with you for a price point of $49.85 a month? And that is a bundle plan covering you, the family, and the business as it relates to the attorney and the other services there. So that's the highlight there. Identity theft is huge. I won't even elaborate on that. It's been the #1 reported crime to the FTC for the last 17 to 18 years in a row, and it's not going away, I promise you that. So here, what we do, we don't just monitor, but we do the restoration. That's the differentiator between us and others in the marketplace. Restoring you back to pre-theft status. And that does come with a guarantee, whether it's medical theft, Social Security, DMV, criminal character, financial, or synthetic. Huge when you look at all that's out there anymore. So that's what you're looking at there. For you and your family, you can have a one bureau or a tri-bureau there. This is the identity theft investment. If you're individual, $9.95 a month. If it's a family, $24.95, and that covers children up to age 18 and up to 8 children. So a family of 10 would be $24.95. If you have more than 8, then we can tell you. You need 2 plans, right? She was shaking her head and laughing. If you have more than 8, but one of my members, Randy, we laugh all the time. He has 6 children, he and his wife, and we said, we need to have you with 2 plans. But, and he uses it almost every time we meet the second Tuesday, every Tuesday. It's like Randy's usually the shield, but we just laugh and tease. But that's where we are. You have perks. When you utilize your perks, truth. I am anybody in the room like savings other than me? If I see 25 or 50% off, that rack has my name on it. So again, the perks are phenomenal. I was just week before last, I did a Lady of Justice luncheon, and I had a member in there, and she was saying her family of 4 had just gone to the movie, and instead of paying the $13 to $14, they had a $5 savings on each per person for the ticket. So there's so many savings I have saved and saved. So that's what you're looking at. I thank you for your time. Bob this is his website. You can go there and view more information, or you can call Bob. All of you know Bob's contact information. I'm pretty much a spokesperson to help with answering any questions. I do have a few business cards on the back table, and if I can clarify anything for you, by all means, just please give me a call.
Okay, for those wondering why I came up, was just talking. I signed up today. I talked to one of the lawyers today. She was just very helpful, and the process was easy, very affordable, and I recommend it. I mean, I really haven't done much yet except talk to the lawyer, but it was just a very smooth, easy process, and they seem to be very, the law firm, very confident.
Wow, so you're mine.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it. That's what I do, helping REIA, Midlands REIA, and Bob. So again, thank you. Pleasant surprise.
Sarah said to call me about the legal shit. Just call me anytime. I don't do a whole lot. Just call me.
But I'm here to work. I work as a team with Bob, especially taking care of all of his, the group.
Okay, this is actually we're 2 minutes ahead of schedule. This is going to be our deal presentation session. Let me oops. By the way, this is something, and I didn't want to pay Andy his winnings until the meeting. So where's Andy? Okay, I had to bet with Andy on 2 situations. Andy won them both. So I just want to make sure people know this shark does collect his bets. Okay. Now Andy, you see here it says lift. Okay. Now you can lift that second one too. Okay? You can get the same message. Okay? So, does anyone have any deals they'd like to present for sale, or something that they want, or maybe a deal that they did they'd like to brag about? You know the Sam's College. It is. Okay. Anyone have any deals? Oh, come on up.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm David Thompson. I started coming here, I guess, early July. That's when I bought my first house. Since then, I've bought 5. I've also wholesaled 3 deals, and I've just been one of them, by the way. It was very, very much thanks to Bob came over here. We actually got one under contract for a subject to, and reassigned the subject to, and made a little bit of cash off of that, which is pretty good for us. We've also got a couple more under contract. They just signed today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my wife's card over here, if I can see it. Almost. There we go. There's a lot of lag. There we go.
Okay. Let's see if we can feed that down.
There's a little bit of lag on that. Okay, so what I got is, we've got one that just hit the market today. It's in 29223, and it's a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 1,100 square feet. Currently already rented out for $725 a month. That mortgage ends in May. So the renter's great, been there for like 4 years. The house itself, though, after they finally go, the area rents for about $1,100, and there's probably about $20,000 or $30,000 worth of repair in that. I think the ad for that's on Alpha has already hit the Midlands REIA Facebook, so you can check it out there. I don't have a flyer for it today, unfortunately. We're asking probably around $65 or $70 for it. It's going to be an inspection next Tuesday, and that's going to be at 11. This is my wife's card. If you don't know her already, take down that information, that email. We check it all the time, and that's a good one. Another one is, I got another house that.
About that one?
What's that?
I asked you about that one. Who's Nigel?
Nigel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel's a partner of mine.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say he sent it to me, so I was just.
Yeah.
knew
He's
about
a
that.
partner of mine.
Okay.
He's part of this deal.
Okay.
So another one I want to talk about is a house that Bob told me not to buy. We bought it back at the beginning of July, and it's going to sell for probably $20,000 or $30,000 more than Bob said it would, which is great.
I never said I was always right.
No. I just had to tell you so on that one. This one actually, it's in Earlwood. We're selling that through retail, so probably not anything for you guys. But what we do have is a lot that we're going to subdivide. It's 500 square foot in Earlwood, and it's very nice. So if you know anybody who does land or builds, hit me up. I need that. I also need financiers for the Burr strategy. I got a couple houses that I'm looking to refinance. So if anybody knows anybody, hit me up. I think that's all I have for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Don't forget the taxes. Does anyone else have any deals they'd like coming up, Dean Louise? Let me do this. Just for now.
So I'm presenting this property for a friend of mine.
Like your hair, Gene.
Thank you.
So cute.
How about mine?
I think I'm gonna do that with my hair.
JG's gonna get purple next.
Is this it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so this is landlord ready. It's at, obvious, 3249 Pine Belt Road in Columbia. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,415 square feet, single garage. It's a screened-in porch, central heat and air, vinyl replacement windows. He has replaced the carpet, and the painting will be finished this week. And he's done some repairs to the inside. He's asking $99,000. It's move-in ready for a tenant, and it will rent for around $1,500 to. I think I read that wrong. I think that's supposed to be 2,000 to. I'll confirm. I can confirm it. Just 1 second. I got his email. Sorry. And if you want to go on to the next photo while I look that up. So that's the screened-in porch and the backyard. And next slide. Living room and one of the bedrooms. $1,150 to $1,200. Sorry about that. Typo. Okay. Next slide. That's it. His phone number is 803-730-3615, or you can see me at any time if you're interested in more information on this. It does have a lockbox, so you can see it. Just let me know and contact him.
Okay. Is there anyone else with a deal they'd like to present? Or maybe tell us what you're looking for, or something you're bragging about? Oh, I'm sorry, Freddie, let me just,
Good, good.
Bob, I'm gonna need your help with the rotation thing.
okay, sure. I'm sorry, Freddie, let me move this back up. I didn't plan this too well.
Appreciate it.
Okay. What's this here? Okay, now. All right, and let's do rotation.
We just had an inspection of this house. It's on 850 High Street. Beautiful house, good shape, needs a couple of updates like electrical. Not because it's bad, but it's because it's old, and pretty much that's it. I didn't have the great memory like Davey had, like explaining each deal. I do have like 12. The last time I went to a meetup, it was 26, but they're moving fast, selling houses fast. And when Miss Dean was talking, I remember when she was talking about my service as a Latino, with the Latino community. You all know how Latino community is growing. They pay cash, easy to handle. They don't care about repairs because that's what they do. So by that time, I sold 8 houses. And today, I have the pleasure to announce that I have sold 30 houses in a row since March, when I came here for the first time. Thank you. And I thank you all, because I'm nothing it's because of you. Because you're calling me, you're texting me, Freddie, I need your help. Can you sell this for me? Petersburg, West Columbia, Gadsden, Columbia, whatever. Latinos are everywhere. Everywhere. And those who are closing with me, they can tell you how fast, how committed I am, how fast we move. We don't play a game when we're talking about selling. And since we are collaborating, I have the pleasure to introduce my partner, Gabriel Santiago, and his wife. They're Latinos too. They're learning, they're coming, they can help you too, because this is not about Freddie's only. This is not only about Carlos Barrera. This is about everybody. We are a family. Supporting each other, growing each other, everybody can win. This case is so big, everybody can win.
You guys like gringos?
¿Qué pasa? And since I cannot show you my other 12 properties, you can take a picture of that and visit discountpropertysa.com or my Facebook, Disposition on Demand. That's my phone number. I'm Freddie. I'm here to help you. And we are the new norm of selling your contract fast, believe me. Fast. If you are a wholesaler struggling to find an in-cash buyer, please hit me up. Hit me up. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, is there anyone else with a property you'd like to present for sale, or maybe tell us what you're looking for, or?
This is a property out in Eastover. I've been talking with the gentleman. He's looking to either do a subject to deal or sell it. It's suggested once it's repaired is $99. He has $66 left on his mortgage. He had to get with the bank and get it. He's current now, but he wasn't current for a little bit. He's trying to make a deal, so he just needs it sold. He said that the lowest that he can take for it is going to be $7,000 plus the mortgage. So if you know anybody who's in the Eastover area who's looking, it's got about 5.5 acres. It has its own well and septic. This picture doesn't have the other side. There's a pool. There's about four different structures on the property. It's considered agricultural, so the taxes on it are really low as well, and it butts up to a hunting club. So if you know anybody in the area who's looking for something like that, let me know. Thank you.
Is that a trailer?
Yeah, it's a double wide. It's 5-bedroom, 2-bath. There's a couple of repairs on the inside that it needs. He just redid the flooring in the kitchen, and there was a leak with his dishwasher, so he has all that he's already fixed. I have a packet where he had a gentleman come out and assess the property for its value. So if you'd like to take a look at that, I have that with me here too.
Is he willing to sell any of the acreage?
I don't know. I don't think he's looking to just split the acreage. But he's trying to move to Florida, so I'm pretty sure he's open to trying to figure out some way to get it sold. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else with a deal they'd like to present for sale, or maybe tell us what you're looking for? Okay, does anyone have a deal they'd like to present, or maybe tell us a deal you just did, or maybe tell us what you're looking for?
I will.
Actually, that's one. I have one that's up there. So
Oh, do you have another deal? No.
Forgot to grab more today.
Us Latinos gotta stick together.
He is looking to sell it for he owns 66. And
Oh, I thought she was talking.
Yeah, do you have another deal?
I'm JD with Midstate Properties. We buy houses and rehab them and sell them. That is the goal. That's what we do. We also have a side of our business that wholesale, so if you do see wholesale stuff from us, from Midstate Property, you can buy those. That's how that works. We're looking for pretty much any house. We'll look at any deal, and one of the things that we've offered in the past, and we continue to offer it, I just haven't been talking about it the last few months. If you guys have a wholesale deal, if you're new to wholesaling and you don't really know what's going on, whether you don't know the ARV or how to calculate it, I see on forums, not necessarily our group, but I see online all the time people are like, how do I calculate an ARV? How do I get rehab costs? How do I do this and that aspect of the business? We can help you, even because we're a buyer, so we want to buy the house. Whatever you have it under contract is really up to you, but we'll tell you what we'll pay for the house without you having to necessarily give us a price. Does that make sense? So if you're looking at a house, you want to say, hey, well, what do you think the rehab is? This is what I do for a living. We bought and flipped many houses this year, many houses last year, so we're not new at this. I can kind of walk through a house and be like, looks like it's about 40 grand. And then I can go put my pencil to it and type it in the computer and all that, and I'm usually right. It's kind of what I get paid for. And we have our agents, they give us our ARVs, because I'm not an agent, so I don't get on the MLS and do all that. They do that, we trust them. Again, they've sold a lot of houses for us. We have a good relationship with them. So we'll give you all of that information, and we pay 70% of ARV minus repair. So it's a really, really simple equation. You can bust out your cell phone and do it right there on the spot. ARV times 0.7 minus whatever rehab is gives you what I will pay you for the house, right? Does that make sense? So a lot of people have used us for that and continue to use us for that because it makes it really easy for you. So obviously you would want to get it for less than that number if you intend on making money. We don't care how much money you make. That's not really our job, is not to steal money from wholesalers. Our job is to pay as much money to wholesalers as we can because that's how we buy houses. We tried that at the beginning and we didn't buy no houses, honestly. And not to screw people, just, you know, if I can pay 65 and I go, man, I'll give you 55, and you're like, well, I got it at 60. Well, if I would have just told you 65, I would have got the house, you would have made 5 grand, everybody would be happy. And we could fix it and sell it, and then we make money on the back end. So we're happy to do that. We do multiple strategies. So if you have a house that you're like, I don't know what to do with this, I think this lead is trash, you're welcome to send us the lead. and we can see if we can take trash and make treasure out of it. We've done that a number of times for a lot of different people, a lot of different houses and clients, and help people out. And the homeowner's very, very thankful because they think they're upside down in the house, and we work something out where we can give them, they may not make money, but they get out from under that burden, if that makes sense. And the wholesaler might be able to make a couple $1,000, which is more than zero. Where I come from, that's a good thing. So just give us a call. My phone number is 803-727-8998 or Party98. If you spell it out, if you have like a rotary dial or something that has letters on there, you can do that. We're Mid-State Property, 727-8998. I got these fancy hats. Facebook told me I had to buy them, so I did. And Daryl's my partner back there. He does all of our wholesale stuff. He's not really as active in the flipping side, but we're always together, so you know, that's how it is. So if you guys need to partner with something, if you have a question about property, we can kind of work something out. We will co-wholesale stuff as well. If you're like, hey, I got this property, why is it not moving? Why does nobody want it? Because we're pretty honest. And a lot of times we've told people, hey man, I'll give you 65. He's like, well, I got it under contract at 70. I'm like, well, did you have this in the budget? Did you have a new roof? He's like, I didn't have a new roof. You go back to the homeowner, tell them that you had miscalculations and that you really need to get it for 65, and we'll still give you 70, whatever it is, whatever number I just said. And you can go back and make money. We've done that too. It just takes trash and we can make money off of it together. Like what he was saying, us Latinos are all in it together. So. We're a family, right?
Yes, sir.
So, anyway, thank you. If you need me, I love to talk.
What's your name again, sir?
JD. Hold that day.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Gallo Naranjo from Dana Properties. I am also a buyer. Actually, I want to give you a good news story. So we just closed a property with Steve Tackett. We're closing on a property next week. And actually, we did it through traditional financing. So a lot of times you think that you cannot close in 3 weeks or less. Well, we can do that because we have the right financing. We have the means to get the money on time. So if you have properties that you want to get rid of, I mean, we have cash available to pay cash, but we'll much rather use other people's money, right? But in this case, we just use the bank's money. So if you want to close within 3 weeks, owner occupied, we're trying to stick in good locations, 29203. Not there yet, but if you have anything, you can reach back at the end of the presentation here, and I can give you my card, and then we'll do some business.
You have a card?
I do have cards.
Let's put one up on the screen. Okay, Gallo is a player, he's a buyer, so you might, if you're wholesalers especially, you might want to consider giving Gallo a call. Can everyone see that okay?
No.
Okay, is there anyone else with a property that'd like to present or?
Not necessarily present. My name is James Hooker. I'm with Exit Realty. I work with about several investors where we collaborate. I find a property, and we come up with a agreement or a package deal. So, bottom line, I'm user friendly. No, seriously. If we're all in the business to make money, so I'm willing to help, and hopefully you guys will reciprocate my way. If you looking for any off-market properties, because I get quite a bit, instead of you doing drive for dollars, or if I see something that may meet your criteria, I'd be more than willing to send it out to you. If y'all break out your cell phones, I can give you my contact information. I got a card, but I can give you my digital business card. It's text, the number you're going to text is 85377, and the message will be ICU, ISEEYOU. It all runs together. So that way you don't have to keep up with it. And you know, yes sir?
Is there a certain area you concentrate in? It's like
Man,
Downtown Columbia.
I'm all over the place. Because it depends on I have two investors, well, one investor, her criteria is from 75 to 200,000. She primarily works as a husband, 203, 205, 201, 210. So it all depends on the individual. So, and I collaborate with other realtors. You know, we're all in. I say again, we're all in the business to make money. So, the best way to reach me is either text or email me. Because when I'm with a client, I'm not going to stop talking to them, you know, to answer the phone. But if you text me when the time is right, I'll call you right back.
Text on any of those numbers?
Excuse me?
I said text on any of those numbers?
No. The text will be my cell phone.
James?
Yes, sir.
What was the code you wanted us to text to that number again?
Sure. You go to your text, it's 85377, and then in the message, ICU. ISEYOU. No spaces. Everything runs together, lowercase. That's all right, man.
Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to present a deal? Maybe tell us what you're looking for, maybe tell us what you've done lately.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Miller. I buy and sell seller finance notes. So if you've got a note that you've been sitting on, maybe haven't getting a lot of interest in it, let me know. I'll take a look at it, give a quote. If you're an investor and you're looking for some nice returns, let me know as well. I work with Donna Bauer, so if any of you are familiar with Donna already, I'm glad to help you out with getting investing with her. And like I said, if you got some notes, I'll take a look. I don't have a card on me now. Donna's website is thenotebuyer.com. You can access, you can get to me on there as well. My name is Matthew Miller, like I said. I can give you my phone number. It's 803-814-4118. That's my cell. You can call or text me.
Repeat that again, please.
Yeah, the cell is 803-814-4118.
And what's your name?
My name is Matthew Miller. Not looking for any non-performance stuff, mostly just seller financed. If you know any landlords, you know, if you can connect us with somebody that has a deal, happy to give you a bird dog fee, stuff like that. So, you know, anything note related, let me know.
Thanks, man. Okay, is there anyone else who has a deal they'd like to present? Maybe tell us what you're looking for, or maybe tell us about a deal you recently did.
How y'all doing? My name is Terrell Firm Jr. Currently serve in the United States Air Force, so this is my first meeting. I'm kind of looking here to learn and kind of get a feel and understand what really goes on here. Looking to get started in the wholesale and move on from there. And so, you know, just connect with me. If you have any guidance or any mentorship, anything you might want to give, I always got my ear open. So, appreciate you.
Okay, I'm kind of on the tail end of that. Consider the association kind of like a library. And we're just a bunch of librarians here. I'm just a librarian. Andy Hollins graciously volunteered time as a librarian, if you will. So you can always call us, you know, and maybe we can give you the resources you can. Is there anyone else who has a deal they'd like to present, or maybe tell us what you're looking for, or maybe a deal you did that you'd like to consider?
Good evening, everyone. Most of you probably already know me. For those who don't, my name is Crandon Miller. I've been wholesaling, flipping things, whatever, you know, this whole thing for about 1.5 years. I have to thank a couple of people in the room, because my partner Jay, he's probably not in here today, but he's also another person who started here. I started him last September, and we just closed Tuesday, the largest deal we've closed since we've been here. I talked to Bob the other day, and I said for new wholesalers, I think that deal we took home, like, I think the deal was like $26,000 in profit. So it is good. You can't do it. It wouldn't have been possible if people in this room did not lend us money to actually go and get the deal. So we were able to secure funding twice to buy the house and then someone to pay off that loan so that we can get it done. So everything that you need is in this room. All the resources, I've called Bob 50 times, like, called Andy 50 times, like, hey Andy, man, can you help me? And we were able to get it done. And then the guy who lent us the money to actually get this house, we found another house. And before we even had a chance to list that house, he'd already signed up to buy it. So we closed our next deal on the 25th of this month, and we didn't even have to put it out. We didn't have to remarket it. So I say that, and I share this with y'all because people need to understand that everything that you need to be successful in real estate is within this community. Well, I got to give one shout out to Freddie, because I had a deal in Chapin where I had to sell 2 houses, could not get it done, could not find it. Freddie brought my buyers, and I didn't make any money off that deal. But these two people who, remember, we say we get in this to help people out. My initial plan backfired on me. People said, hey, we can't do it. So I didn't have any way, but these people were planning to move based off of me saying I could buy their property. What can we do then? Freddie brought the buyers. These people got what they're looking for. So maybe I didn't make anything, but we actually took care of people on the back end, which is essentially the reason why we get in this, because there is a hole in traditional real estate that you can't use. The house was too old. They could not get it. They could not put it on the market. So the only way would be then for them to find an investor, but they don't have the information. They don't have the network to find somebody to buy that house for them. That's where we come in. We have that network, and you have that network with the people around you. So I just say all that to say, wholesaling for real. I've done the subject to this last year. All these things that you hear, do your knowledge, do your work, stay consistent, and I guarantee you something will happen for you.
Okay, well, as Brandon was saying, your network's really important, so keep building your networks, not just here, but everywhere, okay? But is there anyone else who has a deal they'd like to present for sale? Maybe something, tell us what you're looking for, or maybe tell us a deal you just did. Success stories always help bring more deals for some reason.
So,
Do you have one?
yeah. I bought my first subject to last year and planning on keeping it and renting it out. The woman that I bought it for actually went on hospice and passed away while I had it subject to, and the what's that term? The on estate attorney, whoever it was that was handling all that stuff, they started calling me a lot, kind of freaked me out, and I ended up selling. So after that, I bought, in the last 4 months, I bought the office that we do business out of and my wife's photography studio.
Wow.
Using creative finance, and that was a subject to. I bought our house, tried to get it subject to. I ended up buying it on an installment contract. And I bought one more subject to last week and already have the buyer for it that I'll end up making 50 off of. And I'm not doing that much to it, I'm doing it myself. And since then, I decided I was going to dive more into trying to increase the portfolio and get more subject twos and to have more cash flow. And in the last week, I've gotten one that I should be doing the contract for when they get home through Dotwood. They've already agreed verbally. And then I got one more. These are all real estate because I sell real estate also. I'm a realtor. But I have 2 others that I'm also working on right now that I expect to go under contract and get subject to. And I think the biggest thing I'm going to run into, like a wall with trying to buy them, is not having the capital to pay the payments up, even though they'll have good returns. That'll be something I might be looking for to like partner with somebody. If somebody has like an IRA or anything like that and wanted to invest. And so most of these are already rent ready, like they're being lived in, there's nothing wrong with them right now. But they might need like $5,000 to bring them current if I was looking to buy in whole. Some of them I'm going to try and do. One of them I'm getting right now, and I know I'm getting under contract. I think I'm going to be able to do a lease option on to get all the money back through our option payment. So that's gonna be the goal with it, but if not, I might be looking for somebody to invest capital with that. So if anybody's looking to increase the portfolio, that would be willing to partner.
Do you have a business card?
Yep.
This is someone who's really taken to creative real estate. So Andrew, I hope you don't mind if people start calling you for tips and whatnot.
I have another, I bought one last year too that was like no money down. That, I don't know if anybody does Airbnb, but I bought it for student housing, I was renting it out. Ended up putting it on Airbnb and I cash flowed $1,400 more a month through Airbnb than I do like that now.
Nice.
And that was creative finance.
Okay, is there anyone else who has a deal they'd like to present? Tell us what you're looking for, maybe a deal you'd like to brag about? Anyone? Oh, come on.
Well, I don't have a deal, but just gonna explain my situation. I'm Brandon Bowers. I'm 26. I'm new to real estate. I don't really have much knowledge, but I drive trucks. I live on the road. I gave up my apartment and my vehicle to drive truck and save for real estate. So I have access capital. So anybody looking for exactly, just give my number, call me, and we can maybe partner with some deals or something.
All right. Do you have a business card?
No, sir, I don't have a business card.
Okay. What was your number?
803-862-2441.
Good for you.
Brandon Bowers.
Is it B-A?
BRANDON-BOWERS.
Thank you, Brandon.
Excuse my voice. I'm not too good with speaking in front of crowds, but.
Okay, is there anyone else with a deal they'd like to present for sale, or maybe tell us what you're looking for, maybe a deal you did? Anyone else? Okay, I guess not. Okay. It's okay, let's go through some of the more tedious stuff before we get on to the exciting presentation, which I think is going to be really cool.
So, my bad, everyone. If anybody has saw in the Midlands Mastermind group, probably about a week or two ago, I posted about a condo. I was told by the owner that our offer wasn't accepted. This is the second time, and that he went with someone else. But he just called me back the day before yesterday and said he may accept my offer, but he won't know until after the classic. So he's probably using it to enjoy himself at the classic. Then he's going to we're going to be offering, it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's in 29203, right? It's right off of Alpine Road. It's not a bad area. No HOA fees, no regime fees, no fees at all. And we're going to be asking $45,000 for it. It's already, it's rent ready. It's got new carpet, vinyl, comes with all appliances, all stainless steel appliances, and a dryer. Doesn't mean you'll have to come up with your own washer. And we're going to be asking $45,000. So just wanted to put that out there because I'm pretty sure we're going to get it, but we won't know until after the classic. So, but I wanted to throw that out there. So if y'all have any questions, you want to know more, I have pictures and everything for it.
You have a business card, Brandon?
Surprisingly enough, I'm out. But my number is 803-216-1608. Once again, it's 803.
You had it posted on the Midlands REIA Mastermind.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and repost that as soon as I actually have the signed contract. But I'm gonna throw it out to you guys, just in case.
What's the rent?
It's actually renting between $800 and $900 right now. I think he said the last one he had was $850. And then when I checked the area, there were like 2 in that area. There were 2 renting for like $900, a couple renting for $1,000. But I'm always err on the lower side, and then let you decide how much you want to try to add on top of that.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to present a deal or tell us what you're looking for, or maybe tell us about a deal you just did?
That's a wholesale.
Anyone? Okay, it's okay. Let's go through some of the more routine stuff, and then we'll bring up our speaker with some really cool stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay, if you haven't guessed, we're Midlands REIA. There's several REIAs in the area. I suggest you seek them out. Okay, build your networks through them, and you'll see each REIA has its own set of resources and whatnot, and hopefully you can find the ones that work best for you. Please silence your cell phone. Okay, everyone has a cell phone here, I assume? Okay, now we have a kind of a rule. Dean Louise is holding up our oops jar. If your cell phone goes off during a meeting, especially when the speaker is speaking, you have to put in $5 into that jar. Now, there's about, I think, 20 bucks in there. 15 of those are mine. Okay, so yes, I have to ante up too. Anyway, at the end of the year, that money does go to charity. It's not like we're quiet. So, photos and video, we're going to do it probably for social media, if nothing else. Okay, so I hope nobody minds that. And Ken, is it okay if we record your presentation? Thank you.
For a small fee.
Okay. Well, we're going to record this and also put up on the website as well. So, liability disclosure. I don't see our normal attorney here, so as far as I know, nobody here is a licensed attorney or financial planner in any way. So anything you hear at this meeting is strictly from personal experiences. If you have questions legally or financially about the wisdom of what you see here or hear at this meeting, go seek qualified help, because as far as I know, no one here, especially me, is considered qualified, okay? Okay, national success rate nationwide for creative real estate investing, the way we get into it's only 3%. Nationwide, only 3% of the people get into it the way we do, ever do even a single deal. That's pretty bad. It's not because it's a difficult thing to do. Be wary of expensive coaching programs. The gurus have come to town, okay, over and over again, and they're throwing out like $25,000 and higher coaching programs, okay? I don't have a problem with that if you have the money and you know it's a good coach and you want to pay for it out of your pocket if you have the money to begin with. What they do is they try to get you to put yourselves heavily into debt. I know several of our members here who are having a hard time now putting food on the table because they paid for one of these high-priced coaching programs on credit cards or whatever, and now they have to make payments of that even though they still haven't done a deal, okay? Midlands REIA personal goal is to raise that 3% success rate to 20% or higher by the end of this year. And from what I'm hearing and seeing, we're pretty well on the way there. And we want to do it affordably. For the beginners, okay, some of you are already up and running. One thing we'd really like to see is you get up and running as quickly as possible, independently of anyone else. Don't get me wrong, we'd love for you to stay here and long term and keep renewing your membership and whatnot, but in the end, we want you to get to the point where you can do it without anybody, even us. Okay, so basically we want to kick you out of the nest and make you fly on your own. Okay. For advanced investors, we want to continue providing the best possible resources that we can find. Okay. As I mentioned, we're more of a library, if anything else. Okay, so we're just librarians, and hopefully each of us can contribute to our knowledge bases and help each other do better deals. And for the new ones, even get them going with deals. Now, I read somewhere, I think the low success rate of 3% is because of this, okay? It's easy to get into this business the way we do it, and it's also easy to jump out. It's easy to do, and it's easy to not do, okay? Like for example, I post pictures on Facebook of me lying in a chair with a cat and all that. Don't do that, okay? I do that kind of as a joke, but I'm actually out there doing work and doing some things that I should be doing. At the same time, if I keep doing stupid things like lying in the chair with a cat and nothing else, I'm going to go to failure, okay? Just know that somewhere along the line here, success and failure looks very similar, okay? You'll see little bits of feedback. When you're doing something right, you'll get a little, some feedback saying, hey, this might be the way to success. And just keep up with it, okay? Don't give up. Easy in, easy out, yeah. But if you stay with this business, and you'll see it's a fun game. Okay, just stick with it. Don't lose the faith, okay? Okay, any good club or association should offer good resources, provide great networking, give the best training possible, as well as any good club should also seek to improve and adapt. If there's something here that you think we should be doing and that we can do, I mean, obviously we can't change the acceleration of gravity, okay? But if there's something that you see we can do that we should be doing, please let us know, okay? It's something we'd like to incorporate into the programs, if you will. And also, we want to try to learn and teach the best practices for local investing here. What works in, say, Florida may not work here. In Texas, you can't do lease options in Texas. It's illegal. Okay, beyond 6 months, I should say. You can do them here. Well, you get the idea. Okay, so we're staying strictly in the local arena in terms of real estate investing. Annual members here get discounts to national vendors and supply houses. And thank you to JD. Is JD here?
He stepped out.
Okay, JD's been feeding us a lot of his suppliers as well, okay? That will give discounts to Midlands REIA members. Also, discounts to trainings offered through the REIA and workshops. In fact, I'm trying to keep it so that the trainings strictly through the association are free to members, okay? Maybe a nominal fee to non-members. Access to the members area with local cash buyers, no door fee at the door for members. Also, close guidance for deals. This is a Midlands REIA thing only. It's not a nationwide thing. Okay, so that being the case, even if you're not a member, give me a call. Okay, I'll still chat with you on it. Now, I'll definitely prioritize you if you are a member. Okay, but at the same time, even if you're not, just give me a call if you had to say, hey, what would you do with this? Okay, and I'm sure Andy feels the same way. Adrian and Mark, I don't see them here, but anyway. Okay, ways to improve. We're always looking for ways to improve. As I mentioned, workshops. I've gotten some requests for another home inspection cost estimating workshop. We're trying to work something out with our contractor, Eddie Sabina. Okay, for those of you who went on his last one, I hope it was worth your while. Also, if there are any topics you'd like to see us cover, then please let us know. And also subgroups. We've had some success with, I guess Dean Louise is running a hidden markets subgroup, and we're getting a notes one off the ground now. And there's a couple people already in that group. We haven't even had our first meeting. They're already starting to do notes deals with Donna Bauer. So anyway, if you have any suggestions for subgroups you'd like to see formed, please let us know. Now, if nothing else, okay, we are on all the social media, if you will, all social media sites, the main ones. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. But if nothing else, this one here, I think is probably the main one. This will redirect to our Facebook group, okay? And this is where a lot of deals are being flipped and deals are being funded. If you have a deal that needs funding, first put it under contract. If you don't put it under contract, put an address up there, someone might swipe your deal. Okay, get under contract first, in big capital letters saying you need funding, and then describe the deal, okay? And if it's a deal, you'll see money pop out of the woodwork at you. I was surprised. Now this is where the cash buyers are on our members area website, okay? Now, this does need a little bit of updating. Apparently, I think 4 or 5 cash buyers are working in different areas, but we still have about 50 cash buyers who are still buying in the Midlands here, okay? And also, there's a guy named Skipper. He's been buying all over the state, okay? So his phone number's in there as well. So when you get a deal under contract, you log in, go to the cash buyers list, and just let your fingers do the walking, all right? Just start making phone calls. Or, now notice the person lately with a hot hand is Freddie Castro, okay, disposition on demand. He's another person to approach if you got a deal that you need to sell quick, okay?
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, annual membership here. As I mentioned, before you join here, there are other REIAs that are free, okay? So I suggest you, before you consider paying to join this one, I suggest you seek out the other ones, the free ones especially, because you might be able to get what you need, knowledge, partnerships, or whatever, for free, versus $125 you have to charge here, okay? $200 for a couple, that is. So just know that there are other REIAs out there, okay, and a good number of them are free. Now, for non-members, the first visit is free. For repeat visitors, we have to charge $20 a fee. And for the Non-members, if you do join tonight, we can apply your door fee to the annual membership. Now, a few announcements. Every month we have a book corner. Dean Louise is really big on self-improvement, personal development. And right now, Dean Louise is in the back. I usually let Dean Louise announce this one. Thank you.
All right, folks. If you've been here before, you know I talk about these books that just pump me up. If this one doesn't get you off your butt, nothing will. I've read this book, well, I've listened to this book in my car. Listening to it at 1.5 speed is phenomenal, I gotta tell you. Then when you listen to anything normal, 1 speed, it's like that doesn't cut it. So 1.5 speed, who gets you moving? I've listened to it 4 times, I listen to it every day, all the time now, and it has got my blood pumping. I am now focused on doing the main thing that I need to do that day to get to my goal for the week, to get to my goal for the month, to get to my goal for the year. It is a short book, but it is phenomenal. And you don't have to have read the one before, which is Miracle Morning. This one is the one. This is awesome. You've got to read it. If you don't read any other book, you've got to read this book. All right. Palmetto Civitan is an organization that helps to support special needs children and their families. And we meet the first and third Tuesdays from 6 to 7:30. Sometimes we change the venue, so please look at the group page on Facebook to see where the meeting is going to be that night. And we have a lot of events. So for example, this Sunday we are hosting special needs families to go through the Cease Farms corn maze. Cornfield, corn maze. That's right, corn maze. Corn maze. We had a spaghetti dinner last month, the end of the month, that raised well over $500. I'm still tallying everything, so I'm the treasurer, so I'm still working on it. But it was wonderfully profitable. We had a much bigger turnout than we had anticipated, which was good and bad, but it was great overall. We have, do you have the flyer?
The Oyster Roast?
Yes. We are selling tickets to the Oyster Roast. That is coming up November 3rd from 4 to 7. It will be held at the Hidden Tavern, which is just off of number 1 in Lexington. It is $35 a ticket in advance, $40 at the door. It is lots of fun, all you can eat, and it goes for a great cause. It is benefiting the Civitan organizations, all 3. So it's Columbia Civitan, Dutch Fork Civitan, and Palmetto Civitan. And the proceeds will go to Mental Health America for the most part, and then each of the organizations has their own profit that it's going to go to.
Thanks, Louise.
And
Yes.
like I said, I'm a truck driver, so I won't be here, but I've also been trying to look for a way to give back. So right now, I'll purchase 4 tickets and give it to any 4 individuals in here that
Thank
want
you.
to go.
That's nice.
Can you go back to the book? These books, can you go back?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Okay, now I'm going to go through a list of things that are kind of upcoming. But if you click on our website, the calendar of events, we try to keep this up to date as much as possible. So everything you see next are now in the calendar of events. So if you have questions on what we covered and you didn't take a picture, just go to our website and click the calendar of events, okay? Oh yeah, one more thing. I saw some people take a picture of our Money Mastermind group link, the tiny URL one. If you click right there on our website, that's the same thing. It goes right to the Money Mastermind group on Facebook. Okay? So all you have to do is just go to our website and click that link. Okay, first, every 3rd Tuesday of each month, John Branham and Ken Holmes, our speaker Ken, they co-organize and run a meeting at Zorbitz. Okay, this is the Palmetto Real Estate Investors Network. It's a group of seasoned investors. There's money in that group and a lot of expertise. So you might want to consider doing that. And also it's great food. At 6 to 8 p.m. at the Zorba's Greek Restaurant on St. Andrews Road. The next meeting is this coming Tuesday, October 15th, right? Okay. Now, Midlands REIA and Legal Shield teamed up. There's a Ladies of Justice. That's a subset of Legal Shield. They have a luncheon with Sarah Mitchell hosting that. Sarah spoke here 6 to 6:30 about Legal Shield, and that's at Beef O'Brady's. The next meeting is Thursday, October 17th, a week from today. Okay, at 11:30. So luncheon, of course, 11:30 to 1, I believe. So if you're interested in the whole legal thing, especially as with regards to women's issues and whatnot, no one consider going to that if you have time. Okay, women in real estate. Stacy could not be here. Stacy Pinkney runs this one, but from the feedback I'm getting, this is a really good group to also network in. And despite the name, apparently men are allowed to go to this. Anyway, Stacy runs that one. She's a seasoned real estate agent as well as investor. It's every third Saturday of the month. The next meeting is the 19th, which is a week from this coming Saturday, at Panera Bread on Barrow Parkway at 5 p.m. Okay, so you might want to consider going to this. I think you'll meet some really good people there as well. Columbia Real Estate Investors Association. This is run by D'Angela, Keisha, and Rick. Okay, this is a dinner meeting. It's every fourth Thursday of each month, and they meet at Grecian Gardens in West Columbia. Right, and again, the location and details are on our calendar events. So this is also a great group to talk with and network with and whatnot. Okay, I've met some really cool people there. Our next dinner meeting is October 24th, the fourth Thursday. Okay. Okay, Ladies Business Networking Lunch. Deborah Wang runs this one. Now, this unfortunately is one where men are not allowed. Okay, so Deborah, she's a seasoned business owner as well. She manages, I believe, over 80 trailers, 80 mobile homes. So she has her hands full with this one. So it's a good place to trade ideas, and especially for women. It's a good networking event for women. Now, if you could though, if you're going to go, please RSVP Deborah with that phone number. Okay. Now tonight's speaker is a seasoned real estate investor, and he's a master at deal structuring. Ken's been in the business. Now, if you do seek a coach, okay, or a mentor, seek one who's lived through at least one recession. The last one was brutal. I lost a lot of money during it, okay? I mean, to be fair, I'm still standing, okay? I mean, it's a fun game. I'm not going to leave it. But seek a coach who's been through some of the worst. Ken is one of those. He's survived it. He's still standing. He's been a full-time real estate investor for 2 decades. He's been a property manager, a real estate appraiser. He's rehabbing houses now as well as purchasing self-storage buildings. Self-storage can be a cash cow. Okay, it's a lot easier to manage than rentals. And he funds all these deals without banks. So if we could, let's put our hands together for Ken.
All right, JD is still out of the room, so I'm just going to say, my name is Ken Holmes, and I buy and fix up and sell houses in Columbia, and I will pay you 71%. So you want to get my number, because I'm gonna cut JD out of this thing. I appreciate Bob letting me have the opportunity to speak. I'm just going to share some things tonight that I've learned over the years. I've been in real estate since 1987, so it's actually 3 decades. I started as an appraiser, but I've been actively investing since about 97. And I've had success and very bad failure and more success, and I've just learned a few things. I basically had 2 lives. In my first life, I did everything the book said, and I borrowed a lot of money, and I bought a lot of houses, and I had a lot of debt. We were making some cash flow, and then in 2008, I lost it all, every dime. And so I've had life 2. In life 2, I don't borrow money,
I do all my deals with other people's money, and therefore, I haven't lost anything. And so I've kind of done it both ways. And so that's the reason I speak about, debt-free investing is just because am I going the wrong way?
Down there.
But down there? Okay. It's just because it made a drastic change in my life. It's what's allowed me to recover. It's what allowed me to move on. I was talking with Bob at dinner. When he talks about networking and building relationships, that's what it's all about. When I lost everything, not only did I not want to borrow from banks anymore, but I couldn't, so that kind of worked. But my relationships, I had built a lot of relationships with a lot of people who, despite everything that went on, still trusted me, still wanted to do business with me, and that's what's allowed me to come back. And I've seen no reason to go back to the bank since then. I haven't borrowed any money for a deal in a decade, and yet I've done plenty of deals. And so that's just really what I want to talk about. It's not for everybody. I'm not anti, people who are borrowing money from banks and doing well, great. But the bankers act like they're your friends, so they decide they're not. When they decide they're not, they'll say, oh, somebody in corporate made this decision to pull your credit line when you got $900,000 on it and give you 30 days to pay up. That's what they said to me. The same bank that was giving me tickets to the basketball game and their box seats and all that kind of thing, they just changed their mind. So I don't go that way anymore, and so that's kind of why I talk about what I do. What is life really all about? How do we make this work? You create your vision for your life. How much does it cost? And then you have to make enough to pay the bills. And then if you make a little more, my advice is to invest that in income-producing assets. How do you get out of the rat race? Everybody play cash flow? Anybody play the Robert Kiyosaki cash flow game? You get out of the rat race by having your assets make enough money so you don't have to. That's what it's all about. What is the primary job of every household breadwinner? To replace yourself with asset income. What is retirement? Retirement is not age 65. Retirement is when your assets make enough money so you don't have to go to work. That's what it's all about. You can get there at 65, you can get there at 55, you can get there at 45. But most people don't set that goal, really. Here's what most people do. When I say what most people do, what I really mean is, here's exactly what I did in phase one of my life. I would buy any rental house that worked. And by work, that means it rents for $900 and my payment was $680, so that works. That's all that mattered to me, because I set a goal of having, I don't know what it was now, I think it was 35 rental houses. I had all the math worked out. I had the math worked out to where I would make $500,000 a year when they were all paid off in supposedly passive income. Once you get tenants, you realize how passive that is. So I would just buy anything that worked because I had the goal of having X number of houses. And what I'm trying to share with you tonight is that's not the goal. I'm very good at achieving goals, and I did achieve that goal, but it wasn't the right goal. The goal should have been, how much freaking money do I get every month? Instead of focusing on the number of houses I have, because the number of houses was just to get the money. But I set the goal on the number of houses. That's where I made my mistake. I should have focused solely on how much money do I get every month. And that seems like a subtle difference, but that's what the books and a lot of the seminars and whatever are teaching you. Oh, I want to accumulate, $100 or whatever. I don't want $100. That comes with 100 tenants. Anybody ever had a tenant? I want money. I'm okay with saying it. I don't want an empire or whatever. I just want the money. I want X amount of money coming in every month. That's what I want. And so when you get back and say, okay, I'm going to focus on that, sometimes there's a better way than having 35 or 100 doors or whatever it is. Most investors just don't look to the opportunity to operate debt-free. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And that's what I want to open. Some of you know what I'm talking about, but some of you don't. And I just want to open up your eyes and say, hey, there's another way to do things, and you can operate debt-free. And it's very difficult to lose money on a house that's paid for. It's easy to lose money on the house with payments of $740 a month, and the tenant won't pay, and you file bankruptcy, and it takes you 8 months to get it out of bankruptcy. You can lose money real quick there. But when the house is paid for and there's no payments, you got to work hard to lose money on that thing. I don't know what you're going to make. You'll make something, you know. But most people are not looking for that, you know. And Henry Ford saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. If you don't think you can buy houses and get cash flow debt-free, then you won't be able to. And I'm just here tonight to try to share with you that that's possible. There are ways to do that. This is my formula when I teach this formula for financial freedom. Assets times rate of return minus taxes equals lifestyle. And so if you're setting a lifestyle goal of $10,000 a month, how many assets, how much money do you have to have in assets in order to achieve that? And it really comes down to what rate of return am I making, and how bad is Uncle Sam hitting me on this thing? And those are really the most important thing. You can have a whole hell of a lot less assets if you can make a better rate of return and pay less taxes. And again, if you don't set a lifestyle goal, and that was the other mistake I made. I wanted $500,000 whether I got out of bed or not. Well, that was really that was 20 years ago too. I didn't need that much money. I don't need that much money really right now, you know. So I set this enormous goal, which caused me to go into enormous debt, all for some figure. I hadn't really thought it out. I think it's cool to say, you know, how much do I really need right now? And a lot of us, and I coach some people, and I see a lot of people's numbers. Most of America is living on $5,000 to $9,000 a month. That's what most of America is living on. Well, that's not $500,000 a year. It's a lot less than that. And so what I try to tell people is like, hey, if you only need $110,000 a year to get by, set that as your goal. Let's achieve that. Because you ain't dead. You can always make more. But let's get there. Let's not set, you know, $2 million a year as the goal, and that causes you to make decisions based on that. Let's set the goal of, I only need to leave. If I had 110 coming in, I'd be all right. And then I wouldn't have to work. But if I felt like working, every time I work, create a chunk of change, put it back into cash flow, I got more every month. So let's be reasonable and set a goal that makes sense. This is the guy I've had in our coaching program. He was making $9,000 a month from student rentals. He lives in Louisville and rents to a lot of students there at the college. And he said he needed $12,000 a month to live his life. And he runs this giant business, wholesaling houses, marketing, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month, and you're on and on and on. And I was like, well, you know, what would you do if you had that money? What would you do every day? Because, you know, you're not going to sit on the couch and eat bonbons all day. What would you do? And he's like, well, I just like to ride my bike more, have more family time, and I'd probably flip a deal or two a year for fun. I was like, well, if you flip a deal or two a year for fun and made $36,000, you're already there. And so he shut down the whole wholesaling business. Because what we try to teach is that hey, let's have fun and let's live life. It's not all about being rich. Money is a means to an end. It isn't the end. All right, going back to my formula. The goal is to reach your asset amount. And so we want to learn how to make high rates of return, how to avoid taxes. And again, if you start with a lower lifestyle, you could always raise it later. I'm going to start going through some of these things pretty fast. A lot of you guys know this stuff, but I'm going to get to the deals. Believe me, we're getting to the part where I show you how to do it. I just kind of like to do the preliminaries so you know why I think the way I think. When I put the deals up here, every one of the deals that I'm going to share with you tonight, those are real deals that I was involved in. And this isn't anything I've made up. Here's my example. If you want $10,000 a month, if you only make 8% and you pay taxes, you got to have $2 million. If you make 15% and don't pay taxes, you only need $800,000. Which one's easier to get to? That's my point. It's worth your time to learn how to make high rates of return. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, how to make high rates of return. Does anybody know what a cap rate is? Cap rate, that's what they say in the commercial world for like big apartment complexes and office buildings and all that kind of thing. A cap rate basically means how much how much income per year does the property make if I pay all cash? And so if you've got a $100,000 house and it brings in $7,600 a year, now we're not talking about debt. It's not the house's fault, you borrowed money. If it makes $7,600 a year on average, that's a 7.6 cap rate. That simple enough? I use cap rate. In the residential world, people hardly ever talk about cap rate, but I think that's the way you should think about everything. Because I only care about how much money I make. I care about my rate of return. I don't care about if it works. I don't care about what it does after the payment. I used to buy houses that sucked. Once I figured this out, I'd be like, I've owned this house for 10 years and it made 6%. But it worked. But it's really a sorry investment. 6%. Like, I don't want that. I spent 20 years of my life paying off a house, so it makes 6%. So again, if you make 2% on your money in the bank, $500,000 gets you $10,000 a year. If you make 21%, $500,000 makes $100,000 a year. Which one's better? $105,000. All right. Any of you out there think 21% is impossible? I know you do. Seems high, doesn't it? It's very possible. It's very possible. But you got to create it. You don't just walk into 21%. You got to create it. And that's just what I want to stress tonight. Create the high return deals. Because like I said, you want to save the $2 million or you want to save the $800,000. I want the $800,000. So it's worth my time to figure out how to make high rates of return and then go out and do the deals specifically so that I can make those high rates of return. Because then I don't need $2 million. $800,000 will take me home. Most of y'all in here know about self-directed IRAs, right? We really need to go over that. I mean, that's in my PowerPoint. But do y'all know that? You might not know how self-directed IRA works. Are we good? You pay taxes on the way in. All the money comes out tax-free when you're 59 and a half. Why am I talking about self-directed IRAs? We're going to get into these deals, and I'm going to be talking about how I'm doing deals with other people's money. And most of my other people's money comes from other people's self-directed IRAs. So it's good to understand self-directed IRAs. It's good to have one. But it's good to understand how they work, because some of the money that I use now wasn't in a self-directed IRA until I told them about it. So if you understand how it works, then you can create investors that aren't necessarily in this room. But you got to know how it works in order to show them. Showing people how they can make good, safe returns in their IRAs. You're helping them and helping you with your business. You guys know this. I don't need to do that. Why do people invest with me? You know, there's all kinds of things they could invest in, but really right now, what would that be? Stock market? Who thinks stock market's going to go up for another year? Who knows? I don't know. I don't have any money there. You know, what would you do? The banks, they're not paying anything. It's really hard. For those of you out there that don't have a lot of money, and you never really put that hat on. But what got it for me is my grandmother. My grandmother was 90 years old and living in a retirement home. A retirement home back then cost $4,000 a month. Well, she was rolling CDs. You know what rolling CDs is? Mm-hmm. Every month one comes due. Well, that didn't make $4,000 a month. My mom was petrified about the whole thing. My mom was handling her money, and she's like, "We're spending $4,000 a month, but we're only bringing in, you know, $3,100 or whatever it was." And I sat down with Mom and I did the math, and I was like, "Well, Grandma's going to have to live to be like 118 for this to go bad." But Mom hated spending the principal. So at that time, Grandma was making 3% rolling CDs when I'm paying the bank 8% plus fees. And so the reason I got into private money was not for me, it was for grandma. I turned around and paid her 6%, no fees, way better for me, but it doubled her income. And so if you've never been there with a bunch of money, but you don't know what to do it, then you don't understand. There's a lot of money out there, and they don't know what to do with it right now. I'm on some of these email things where they're sending out deals, and investors can get involved in this, big shopping center or whatever, and it's paying a 5.7 cap rate. Woo-hoo. 5.7. That's what the rich people are doing. So there's a ton of money. There's a ton of money. And what you want to do is, when you're doing these deals, and be in a position where you can tell the investor, I don't see any way you're going to lose any money. Like, maybe I don't know exactly how we're going to do on this deal, but your money is safe. Because some of the people who are looking for return get involved in deals and lose money. They gave somebody $100,000, and then later on they had $80,000. And so they don't want to lose their money. And so if you can make it safe, you don't have to make them millions. If you can just make it safe, make them a decent rate of return, you can get all the money you want. All right, now, we're getting to the crux of it here. Debt-free investing, what do we do? What do we do? There's basically 4 areas that I think most of us somehow in this room are involved in. The rehab business, and if you're a wholesaler, you're involved in the rehab business. That's your client. The rental property, commercial deals, and buying notes. Most REIAs that you go to, these things are what's going on with people doing deals. So I'm just going to kind of take these one by one. I will start off with the rehab business because that's the most common, and that's what I do right now. I actually will beat JD. He's still not in here. I'll still pay 71%. But that's what I do right now. I run a rehab business. We're probably doing 8 houses a year or something like that. I don't do as many as JD. But we run that whole business off of other people's money. I don't have any money in my houses. When I buy a house, the investor puts up all the money. I just run the show, and we split the profit coming out the back end. And we do it via we use a joint venture structure. The investor shares in the profit. So we're in it to win it together. And so he doesn't know what he's going to make going in. I try to make my investors a good rate of return, but he doesn't know. So this is truly debt-free. Now, I can get investors that will put up money at 10% or 11%, but that's still debt. That's still risk to me. So I'd rather split profit. Sometimes they do really good, but when they do, it usually means I'm doing really good. And sometimes we don't do as good. Me and that guy, my investors work with me all the time. I love this because I don't have to make any payments. Back in the old days when I had a partner and a team and we were doing 40 houses a year, I had so many house payments and so many payments on everything. I wound up spending half my life in the office juggling cash flow, trying to figure out how to pay everything, and I really don't want to do that for a living. I don't really want to be in the office at all, I like being out in my truck and riding around with a pair of shorts and t-shirt and looking at houses and all that kind of stuff. So I love the no payments. And it's not a business partner. Every deal stands on its own merit. I get a deal, I get with this guy, he puts up the money, we do this deal together. If we dance good and we like each other, maybe we'll do another dance. If we don't, maybe we won't. But I don't like partnerships. I don't like long-term partnerships. I don't like owning property together for a long time. But just deal by deal basis. Now, I use the same 6 or 7 investors over and over and over again because we've been doing business for a long time and all that. But I'm not big on business partnerships. Most partnerships I see go bad at some point. It starts off great. I'm going to do this and you do that, and then about 4 years into it, the one guy's going, well, I'm doing 75% of the work, you're getting half the money, and meanwhile the other guy's over here saying the same thing, I'm doing 75%, or their goals change or whatever. So I'm not big on a partnership. Here's how a deal would work. Tom can buy a house for 100 grand, needs 40K in rehab. Investor Steve puts up the money. Tom runs the deal. They agree to split profit 75-25. This is a pretty standard deal for me. A lot of times I'm giving my investors 25% of the profit. If the deal takes 6 months, we sell it for $1.95, and we make around $35,000 after expenses. Most of y'all, this is a pretty typical deal. I'm not putting some home run thing up on the board or whatever. It's pretty standard. I know on TV they make 70 grand on this, but this is your basic single. This is your basic rehab deal. So when we split 75-25, Tom gets $26,250. The guy running the show, running the rehab, he makes $26,250, and Steve gets the $87.50, and of course he gets his money back. Does that make sense?
Right.
Y'all with me on this? All right. So Steve makes $8,750 on 140 in 6 months. That's 12.5%. That's a pretty good rate of return for him. He'll probably come back to the well again. We keep treating him like that. If Tom had borrowed this money from a hard money lender, probably would have looked like this. That makes sense to y'all? 12 and 2, got to get an appraisal, 6 months interest, the 11 grand. We go back, it's $87.50 this way. Tom also could have gone to the bank, play that whole game, the appraisal fee, origination fee of a point, you know, they put all those junk fees on there, flood certification fee, whatever. Paid $45.50 in interest, so the total cost of money is only $6,600 here. And then I say plus the agony of dealing with the banks, but so doing it my way, Tom's paying a little more than dealing with the bank. Here it is spelled out. $11,600 with hard money, $87.50 the way I do it, $6,600 using the bank money. So I didn't say it was the cheapest thing, but I don't have any payments. Why do I do it? I can get my money in a day. I could leave here right now, go to my truck, make a call, and somebody wire me $100,000 tomorrow. It's also possible to get all the money for the deal. A lot of people out there rehabbing, they've got a deal, and let's say it needs $100,000, but then they've got to pay the closing costs, they've got to pay the interest along the way, they've got to pay for the insurance, and you wind up with money in the deal when you deal with the bank. The bank's never going to fund every single dime of it. You know, if I did a deal that cost $60 to buy it and $40 to fix it, that's $100 grand, right? How much money would I get from my investor? Probably 103, 104. I don't want any money in the deal. I got to pay closing. I got to pay utilities. I got to pay the insurance. I don't want to pay any of that. So I'd get, I say borrow. I would have the investor put up probably 103, 104, plenty. One more thousand is not going to kill him. It's not really going to kill his rate of return or whatever. I get ample. That's how much I get. Ample. Sounds good, doesn't it? Ample. But you know, when you're doing a bunch of deals, if you got 6 deals out and you got $6,000 in each deal, you got $36,000 cash tied up in your business. And how much money is it making? It's running your business. But is it somewhere else making 15, 18, 20%? No. People can wind up with a lot of money tied up in their business if they don't watch out. I don't have any money in any of my deals. My business runs on about $1,000 a month, monthly now. I got to pay my phone bill, a little bit of marketing, whatever. But if I've got $4,000 in my business account, I'm good. You know, because I don't have to have any money to buy the houses. So I really like that. No payments during the deal. Love that. That's just work. Right now, all those checks, paying them, juggling the cash flow. It's not fun. Speaking of fun, this is the part, and you won't get this till you do it. When you write that check to Steve for $8,750, it's cool. You write that same check to Bank of America, it sucks. There's something about Steve, because Steve's your bud. You like Steve. I write that check for $8,750, and I know that that's paying for his college. I know that's paying for his retirement. I'm totally good with it. When I write a check for Bank of America, I hate it's just the act of writing it on a piece of paper. And it really, you get in a relationship with people and you do a bunch of deals together, it's cool. But here's the other thing. If the deal goes sideways, Bank of America does not care. They want the payment every month. You know, if they gave you a year to do the deal and it's going over, they'll probably foreclose on you. They don't care about you. What I'm talking about is having a relationship with people. You're in it to win it together. I had a deal. How many of y'all lived here during the flood? Remember the flood? I had a house in Lake Catherine, which was not in the flood zone, but did flood. And we were just got done with it. It was on the market. My wife's sign was out front for sale. It was all staged. It was beautiful. And the water came up in it, and my investor, he lives in Milwaukee, he called me. He's like, I saw Gina's sign on the national news. I was like, yeah, man, that's your house. So it flooded. And it was a mess. And that deal went on for a long, long time, more than it should have. Had to refix the house, had to sell it for less because that street was kind of tainted. And it just didn't go well at all. But he didn't hound me. He knew what was going on. I talked to him all the time, told him what I was going to do, and we got through it. It would really, really suck if I'd been doing business with some bank on that deal. We're talking, it took 6 months longer than it should have, and extra money had to be invested in the deal to get it back out, and all this kind of stuff. And I was really, really glad that I was doing business with Brian, because Brian's cool. While that went on, Brian did other deals with me. All that house was still getting fixed and all that, because we have a relationship. We're friends, and we do stuff together, and he trusts me, and he knew I was taking care of it. I told him what was going on, told him what I was doing, and he was like, well, we'll get through it, you know. That to me is one of the biggest things. To me, it's all about risk. It's risky to do business with the bank because they don't care and they'll take you down and think it's fun. And it's risky to have all those payments and having cash flow orders. And it's risky if something goes sideways and the bank, you know, won't work with you. So it's not about making the most amount of money to me. It's about having a risk-free environment. I just go do my deals, we do as good as we can. Sometimes we hit a home run, sometimes we hit a single, but we just keep on doing it and everybody's happy. Does that make sense? Anybody got any questions about this? How we're doing these deals?
And if you don't make a profit, you know, if something does go sideways and you don't make anything, then they're gonna take the, you know, their 25% of the debt from the deal.
That's what we did on that flood deal. On that flood deal, I actually lost $5,000 and I ate that. That's not what the paperwork said, but I ate that. Because it really, I'd already eaten it. I paid for some of the rehab, the second rehab out of pocket. So when the dust settled, we lost $5,000 and I gave Brian his money back and nothing more. And he's loaning money. That was what, 2015, whatever? He's loaning, I always say loaning money, which isn't right, but he's doing deals with me right now. Still to this day. And he's made a lot of money. But he didn't make any money on that deal. But if I'd been paying interest, how much would I have lost? Let's just say more. Yes, ma'am?
When you are going flipping, are you put on the MLS too, or how do you do it?
Am I what, selling it on the MLS?
Yeah, I'm selling it.
My wife's the agent and the stager. The person who picks out anything that has to do with taste. Yeah, we don't do anything fancy. We buy them and fix them and sell them on the MLS. Not rocket science. Take the same deal. 140 grand, doesn't go like you hope. 8 months instead of 6. Rehab goes over by 4 grand. House sells for 5,000 less. So now the profit's 25 grand, not 35. You see how that works? At the bank, they would have got more, and you got 16. The hard money, they would have got way more. You got 10. With the private, they don't make as much as they would have. This isn't the 8750 that you got in the first round, right? But I'm still making 18,750. So it's more expensive on the deals that go great, but I'm all about the deal that goes great. I'm willing to share. But on deals that don't quite as good, I still come out pretty decent. Now my private money guy, he didn't come out as good on this one, but this is the way it works. You could make, I try to keep my people in the 10 to 12% range. If they're gonna make 7% on one, another one we wind up getting done fast. So we do it in 3 months, so his rate of return goes up 17% because it was so fast, because rate of return has to do with time, right? Y'all know that math? So it's kind of all over the place, but I try to, my goal is 10 to 12% for my people. I try to keep my people at 10 to 12. If I keep them in there, I get all the money I want. All the money I want. And 10 to 12% is not really, like I said, it's not that expensive compared, it's just a little different than the banks. But that's the bottom line. My people on whole make between 10 and 12%, and I can do any deal I want. I can get the money, no problem. I don't have to worry about it. I write a contract, make a few calls, get the money, there we are. I tell people I can close in a week, actually do it. So that's part of what I'm trying to do. It's less risky to go this route. It costs a little more in the perfect deals. But on the ones that go sideways, or just not as good, you come out better that way. All right, and again, this is a real life deal here. Mike is my friend in Michigan. He can buy cheap houses that rent good. 17 grand. Like he paid 8, fixed it up, had 17 in it. We rent it for 6 1/4. It's actually $6.95 now. Net operating income. So that's $4,400 a year. You take the $625 times 12 and take out your expenses. Makes $4,400 a year. I put up the money. He does all the work. And we split it 50-50. I'm making basically 13%. Mike gets $183 a month. Plus we're paying him the management fee. The reason I did that is if it ever got to a point where he didn't want to manage, I didn't want that to hurt my yield, so we just baked it in up front. So he makes the management fee plus his 50%. But once we figured this out, Mike could do 4 deals in 6 months and bump his cash flow up by $1,000. Who'd like to bump his cash flow $1,000 in 6 months? He didn't need any money. He just needed the deals once we figured this out. Y'all get how this works? Right. Oh, yeah. All right. We're splitting the cash flow. And here's the way we set it up. And I set this up because it was my money. That's how the money works. We split the money when it comes in. So if he don't get no rent in June, he doesn't owe me any money because he didn't get any money. Why do I do that?
So he ain't in debt.
What's that?
So he don't feel like he in your pocket per se. Like he don't feel like he's in that debt to you, and you didn't get paid. So now,
what's my risk here? House is paid for.
Yeah,
You're gonna rent for something. What's my risk as the money guy? Mike. My risk is Mike. Mike goes down financially. I own some house in Michigan. What the hell am I going to do? You know, I need Mike to be solvent and making money. And so I set it up where it's virtually impossible for him to have negative cash flow. We actually put a kitty in this deal. We started out with $2,000 extra bucks in the bank for repairs. When we spend some, we put 10% of the rent back in that little kitty until it gets back full. We escrow every month for taxes and insurance. So it's almost impossible for him to have negative cash flow. And it seems like I did that for him. Wow, that's good for Mike. But Mike's my only risk. I knew that if we figured out how to do it, that he'd do a bunch of them. And I didn't want him to be in a position to where he had negative cash flow, things were messing up, and then his whole world tumbled. So I protected the thing that protects my investment, which is Mike. And so that's the way I set it up this way. Does Now, since this time, I first did this PowerPoint probably 2 or 3 years ago. Mike's got 40 of them now? Yes, sir.
So you're buying those for 17, or are you putting anything?
He bought it for 8 and
okay,
put like 9 in it.
All right, that's my question.
Yeah. Yeah. They're great deals. But these deals they're not really in Columbia, not anywhere you want. But there are definitely pockets in America where these deals are available. Detroit, that's not far from there. Yes, sir.
How long are you holding deals of this nature?
We set it up as a 2-year deal.
2 years.
But it's been 4 years. I dread the day he gives me my money back, because then I'll have to go find something for it to do. I'm making like 15% now.
So
because he raised the rents and I didn't put no more money in it.
So in a 3-year period, you're getting all the money you put back in plus whatever you gain from rent. So if you
I'm just getting my half. I'm getting my half. So I'm getting $2,200 a year.
$2,200.
Right.
Okay, and when you sell the house, is it still a 50-50?
On this setup, we're not splitting equity. And the houses have gone up some, so I'm letting them have that. So I'm just suffering over here with my 13%.
Oh, okay, so you're the lender. Okay. So.
Yeah. Sometimes we do equity share. That's the cool thing about these deals. You can set up whatever you want. What makes the most sense? You'll see in a minute here, I've got some commercial property, and we're sharing equity on that.
So why didn't you share equity in this? You put up all the upfront money. What was the reasoning?
I'm taking half. I was just good with it.
That's good.
Just, I get what you're saying.
I mean,
but
I'm not saying you want to be good with your partner or your investment partner, but that would seem fair that you would participate in the equity.
He probably would have agreed to it if I'd asked for it.
Okay.
But I was happy with 13%. That's 15% now.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you get, all of us are so conditioned to think, I got to get mine and this, this, that, and the other. Mike's my friend. I want him to succeed. My IRA is happy with 13%. It really is. I'm just totally good with it. And I say it's higher now. And I know Mike, I know his wife. They're living off of this, And so I just don't have that mentality. My goal is to keep my IRA making 15%. So I've got some stuff at 12 and 13, 11. Well, and some other things that make more. Right. We balance out.
Only ask us, like in your other example, the split was
right.
So what was
the money was in the split there. The money here's in the cash flow.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yes.
You find investors that are willing to hold on to like a 7-year investment like that for a rental, because it'll take them that long to get their money back, right?
Yeah, so I'm the investor in this deal. I don't want my money back. I want the monthly. What's my goal? We go back to the very beginning. What's my goal? X a month, right? This is working right now. I don't want my principal back either. Like, I don't want to amortize. If I get back $20 a month of principal, what the hell am I going to do with that?
So you said your deal was like 2 years, but you're in 4 years. So you'll let this go as long as he's good at letting it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all this money that you're making goes back into your IRA, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to take the tax advantage.
Right. Yeah. So see, I'm 56. I can see 59 and a half. It's just right over there. Right. I can almost get to it.
The thing you have to know about doing it through your, self-directed IRA is you have to put the money back in. Any earnings you have on your self-directed IRA have to go back.
I could have done the same deal with cash, but then I'd pay taxes on it. And so that's what I'm. At this age, I focus more on my IRA than anything else.
But on your
because then I got to have less money. Then I got the $800,000 instead of the $2 million because I'm not paying taxes. So I'm pushing hard on the. Like, I'd rather make $100,000 a year, even if I made $200,000, and somehow funnel the other $100,000 into my IRA. Like, I really don't want. Like, I don't want to pay taxes. I want to get as much money in the IRA as I can, and so I do everything in my power to create deals to make that happen. Yes, ma'am.
How did you find an investor in Flint, Michigan?
He's in a mastermind group that I'm in.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Networking,
okay.
networking and relationships are the key to life.
That's right.
It's the key to life.
By the
It
way,
really is.
another pro of being a truck driver. I go to seminars all over the country. So
Nice.
Yeah. Follow up with all those people, man. Follow up with all those people. Stay in touch with them. You never know. And the ones that look the brokest often have the most money.
that's
It's true. This is something that, and I'm just using the same numbers on this deal, and we didn't do that on this deal. But this is what I've helped him do since then. If Mike had $4,000 that he wanted to invest, and here's what gets a lot of people like, they say, well, yeah, I want to get into investing, but I don't have $60,000 to buy or whatever, you know. I've only got $5,000. That doesn't take you out of the game. Not if you really want to, not if you think. So if Mike had $4,000 and I'd only put in 13 and he had changed it to 65-35, then I could still be getting 12%. And he could get 72% on his $4,000 plus the management fee. See how that math works? 2860 divided by 4,000, 72%. Right? That's good. And we've done some of that. So you can get in the game at 4,000. If you believe you can get in the game at 4,000. And if you go out and think about how to make something happen. A lot of people in this room are hustlers, and I love it. I do, I love it. You're out there hustling, you a hustler, man. I can't look at you. You're out there hustling, you get something under contract, you sell it. Didn't even come back, put it to the list. You got it sold. And all I'm saying is stop and think. What else could I do? I could make a call and have it gone. I could make an email and have it gone. But let's just think for a minute. What's this guy going to do? Is he going to rent it or what? You know, is there a way for me to keep a piece? You know? If you set your mind to finding ways to put your money at work, making high level returns, you will find the ways. If you never think about it, you won't. And that's really the point of this talk. What you believe you can do, but you just got to go out and make it happen. It doesn't fall in your lap. And again, this is how we structured the deal. Mike's LLC owned it. I got a mortgage on it, which sounds weird, like I'm lending money. A mortgage is not a loan. A note is a loan. There's two pieces of paper. The note says I owe you the money plus interest. The mortgage says if you don't pay, I come get the house, right? So we mortgaged the house. Like Mike can't go run off and sell this thing without talking to me. It's mortgaged at the county recorder's office. So I'm safe in that way. I'm on the insurance. His management company is paid to manage the house. And we split the money when it comes in.
Also, I'm assuming your self-directed IRA needs the mortgage in order to release the assets that you're investing.
Say that again. I didn't get
Your self-directed IRA, the trust company, whatever that holds your IRA, probably needed the mortgage in order to release your money to invest.
I got a checkbook LLC, so LLC's got it. If y'all know what that is. Anyway, my IRA owns an LLC. The LLC did this deal. And that's why I paid the extra fees to get the LLC so I can do funky stuff like this when I don't talk. I don't want to talk to anybody at Equity Trust about how we're doing this. You know, it's hard enough to get a straight thing through them, much less anything weird.
Right.
Is this cool? Does this make sense? Anybody lost? All right, so we've gone through Rehab Business. This is one way that you could structure a rental deal. Here's another rental deal. Got this dude named Tony. He's got a deal, $85K, rents for $750. Looks, numbers are telling him he's going to make an 11.8% return. But he's going to see me speak. He knows that's not good enough. He's got to do better than that. And he doesn't want to have any debt. And he only has $25,000. So he's got a good deal. It's $85 grand, pretty good deal. Doesn't want a debt. He's only got 25 grand to invest, so I guess he's just gonna pass on the deal? To bring somebody in, split the deal. The investor, he's got an investor like 7%. He gives the investor, 11%, he gives the investor 11%. He makes $3,500 a year off 25K, makes 14%. So he's ratcheted his return up a little bit because the investor was willing to make a little less than what the deal actually performs at. That's how you get your rate up. And he was able to invest the 25 that he had. And that's a lot of the other thing. See, in my life, I get a bunch of little checks every month in the IRA or whatever for these little deals I got. I get $183 from Mike, and I get so I build up 5, 6, 8, 10,000 bucks, whatever, and I'm looking for somewhere to do. And then I find a great deal, but it needs 40 grand. In my IRA, it's only got 10. I still buy it. I just partner with other people. Yes, sir.
So, from an investor standpoint, a deal like that, are you cashing out on the 11% on an annual basis, or 6 months, or are you refinancing in a year? Like, when would the investor
Refinancing.
Yeah, okay, so you say not refinancing. So, how would the investor get his $6,500 or 11% return back? How would that?
We like to set them up. They get paid when the money comes in. That's why we like to set them up.
Oh.
You split the cash flow. That's different than that. The monthly payment is how much I got in that month. We take out the tax insurance escrow, management fee, whatever's left. We split that at 65-35.
Basically, the investor owns the 65% of the income and rent.
Right. Right.
But doesn't own the property.
We did the upside on this. This one's something that has potential to go up.
Right.
So we did the upside on this.
So the investor owns the property on.
Now,
part of it, he owns a piece of it.
we just split. It's a JV agreement. So we let the deal maker. Tony's the deal maker, right?
Right.
He's the hustler. He done found this thing, and he's trying to put together a deal. And the investor comes in. The investor doesn't want to own it. If somebody slips and falls on the porch, you don't want to get sued. You know, because the investors usually have.
So your JV deal is for a percentage of the rent and a percentage of the equity.
It's just a JV. It's a JV, joint venture. It's a joint venture agreement.
Right.
We agree in writing that we're going to have a kitty for repairs. We're going to escrow for taxes. We're going to split the money when it comes in, 65-35. You just write all that down, nice and legal with a lawyer, and agree to it. And if he doesn't perform, you can foreclose on him, just like you could have known. Because you got the mortgage. Yes, sir.
That brings up a question, is that since you have an equitable investment, an equitable interest in the house, how's that an arm's length transaction from your IRA? Because, money from your IRA is supposed to be an arm's length transaction, right?
What do you mean an arm's length transaction?
You can buy properties, but it has to be an arm's length transaction from your...
Not buying any property.
You have an equitable interest in that house. You have 65% interest in that house.
We just have a joint venture agreement. When we sell it, we'll split the profit this way. We don't own the house. Tony owns the house.
Well, but the other one, you said you were going to take 50% if you ever sold the house, right?
Nope. I just took 10% of the
But
cash
money from your IRA has to be an arm's length transaction. It has to be one thing away.
That's why he doesn't own that. That's why he doesn't own the property.
We don't own the property.
Tony owns property.
Tony owns the
You
property.
have interest in that property, and you don't have any interest in that property.
It's like he's investing.
Tony owns it.
He owns 100% of the property,
Yeah.
and if he sells it, he's going to get 100% money.
Let's say you went down and bought a house right now, right?
Right.
And you went to Bank of America, got a mortgage.
I understand that.
Do they have equitable interest in your property?
No, they don't.
What do they have?
But
they have a note and a mortgage.
At 65-35.
I've got a JV and a mortgage.
It's just definition of
I would say
terms.
this.
He doesn't own anything.
I'm doing stuff like this, but I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know everything. So far, I have not had any issues with any IRA things. I think I'm good, but I'm not a lawyer and don't play one on TV. But I don't believe I have any equitable interest in the property. I believe I have a business arrangement with somebody, and he has equitable interest in the property. That's what I believe.
You like the middle bank,
You act as the bank.
I feel like I'm like the bank. I just don't use a note. I use a JV agreement. Yes, ma'am.
You said you guys share like a kitty for repairs and whatnot, maintenance.
Right.
So, because you have the IRA, is that part of the IRA? Does that money go to that kitty? Or that's from the payment, monthly payment? So your portion would go back into the IRA?
No, it's just that, it's just one deal.
Yeah.
So the
We're gonna
deal
split,
recurring income.
if we sell it, we're gonna split profit above the money that was funded. Not split the amount of money that comes from, the investor always gets his money back, then you split profit. And that's the way we write it down in the JV agreement. We write down, how does this work at the end? And we write, step one, investor gets all his money back. Then, we compute the profit and split it this way. Step one, the investor gets all his money back.
Sorry.
Yeah.
In that last example, could he cash you out at any moment he wanted to? Or do you want to just continue to get the cash flow forever?
On the 50-50 one?
Yeah, I think it was 50-50.
Yeah.
The guy in
I made him keep me in for 2 years. I made him sign for 2 years because I didn't want to do all the paperwork and everything for a $17,000 deal and then him cash me out in 6 months. So I made him sign for 2 years, and then we've just kind of gone month to month.
So if you wanted to, he could go refinance.
He could cash me out at any moment. For the first 2 years, I said he could cash me out, but he owed my money back plus 10%. Which that would have been a good year.
Just going back to the other guy's question about
now we're past 2 years, I don't want him to do it, and I don't want him
He's a lien holder.
Just going back to the other guy's question about online transactions, so I know when I do stuff, it goes through my self-directed IRA, it has to go through their compliance department.
Right.
And if you're honest with them with what you're doing and they say you're good, you should be good.
Right, which I'm not doing because I've got that checkbook LLC.
Okay.
So if I'm doing something wrong, just turn the video off and
In
we're
my
all
case,
going
I
home.
know I'm good.
Yeah. My name is Bob Kim. Alright, we're on. Alright, here's a deal like this. I did this deal almost a year ago today. I bought a storage facility in Hinesville, Georgia, down near Fort Stewart. Lovely town. We paid $400,000. This storage facility, it was basically run into the ground. It had been foreclosed on. Somebody bought it. They didn't know what they were doing. It went from 60 or 70% full all the way down to about 28% full when I bought it. So it was losing money every month when I bought it. But it had a lot of upside potential. This thing's easily going to be worth over $1 million. I'm hoping $1 million too. But it takes a little while to get there in the storage business. So we just split this 50-50. The investors get 50% of the cash flow and 50% of the upside. Now we've been in it a year, and the cash flow at this point is about $5,000 a month. And we're just now getting there. Cash flow the first month was negative $500. Second month it was negative $100, and now we're at $5,000.
Is that like split with your investor with 5,000? 25 for you, 25 for him, or 5,000 apiece?
We're splitting 5,000 now. Yeah.
So
to get to $1 million, I need to get the cash flow to about 8,000, and that's net after expenses. Right. This place is worth over 600,000 now. We've only owned it a year, and that again based on cap rate and how all that works. So we're doing good. We're 78, 79% full, and starting to raise rents a little bit and all that. So it'll probably take me another year to get it stabilized where I want it and all that.
So are you the one managing it now?
Well, that's the joy of the storage business. You can sell out everything. I don't need nothing. I bought the thing. The in the storage business, the hardest thing is finding a deal. You can go months without finding a deal. Very difficult to find with this kind of upside potential. Once you get it, the fix is mostly a business fix. Like we got to do some rehab work. I had to do some grading. Probably 30 of the doors were beat up and didn't work. We had to install 30 new roll-up doors. But it ain't nothing but slabs on a gravel with tin roof and some roll-up. There ain't a whole lot to it. I installed a new gate system. It cost me about $6,000 or $7,000. I fired the lady that I didn't fire her. I demoted the lady that was running the place because she was working full time for $2,000-something bucks a month, and I replaced her with a call system. And so now she just kind of watches over the place for me and cleans units and stuff like that. But everything, the marketing is systemized, the call center talks to everybody, there's a system for payments and credit cards and all that. I don't do any of that. You know, I've got 2 storage facilities now with 400-something units, and I've never rented a unit. I don't know how to rent a unit. That's what they do. That's what I love about storage. Storage business is the first business I've ever gotten in that I didn't go in wearing 5 hats and working like a dog. And then after a while, I'll go, you know what, I'm going to take off the bookkeeping hat and put it over, give it to this person. And I'm going to take off, you know, some of the marketing stuff and give it to this VA. That's what we all do, right? We wear every hat, killing ourselves. I just never put on the hat. You know, all I did was find the deal and then implement the systems. I love it. I'm under contract for a 3rd one right now in a year. That's a lot of money. I own 40% of that business. I got a 10% partner on my part, but we could make $500,000, $600,000 in 3 years. 40% is that mine. I don't have a penny in this thing. If you treat people right, you make them a lot of money, you get all the money you want. Yeah.
How'd you find it?
How'd I find it?
Yeah.
This is scour, right? This one was on Craigslist. That's why I found this. Yes, sir.
So do you like commercial more than residential, or do you have the preference?
You know, I dabbled in commercial before, and I really didn't like it. You got to be deep in the commercial world most of the time. I did a couple things that worked, but I got some property under contract in Chapin, and I spent 4 months and $30,000 in engineering fees and everything, only to have it not work. You just got to be deep. In the commercial world, you might get involved in 3 deals at $20,000 to $50,000 each that don't work, and then when you get one, you make a hell of a lot of money. I'm just not that deep, and so I don't like losing money. So I didn't really like it. Storage is just it's its own little niche. You know, storage is a world, and I'm not here to talk about storage, but it's all about marketing. It's all about marketing and getting people. If you want a storage unit, you're going to get on your phone in 8 minutes, you're going to have one. I need to win that race. That's what it's about. They don't care. They don't care if the doors are blue or red. They don't really, as long as it's in the general area, it's all fine. They don't care how pretty it is, just how much and how easy is it. And so I spent a lot of money on pay-per-click, spent a lot of money on a really functioning website. You can go out to my storage unit at 2 in the morning, get on your phone, 5 minutes later, get a gate code, push the button, go in and get your unit. Anyway, this is a great deal. Like I said, we're making $2,000 a month now. I have. I don't do any work. And I got a lot of upside potential. So this has been a really, really good deal for me. And rather than going to if I'd have gone to a bank and borrowed $440,000, whatever they would have let me borrow, which they probably let me borrow anything on that thing with 28% full. But even if they did, how much money? I lost free and clear. I lost $500 on month 1. How much would I have lost with the bank?
That plus the monthly payment.
More. I would have lost. I'd just now be maybe breaking even. I would have had a whole year of negative cash flow. But instead, I'm making my free and clear. Does that make sense? So it allows you to do things that just wouldn't make any sense with the bank. Well, my investors are gonna come out good on that deal. I got another one, we did the same thing basically with a commercial office building. We may crank that later on, once we get equity in that, we're thinking about getting a line of credit on and lending to some of you fools out there not listening at 12 and 2. Note example. This is the deal I did. Guy got a mobile home under contract, put a sign out. Somebody comes along and wants to buy it owner financing. But Larry didn't want to do that. In fact, Larry didn't want to close. Larry was a wholesaler. So while he was trying to wholesale, he had a sign out. An actual end user comes to him and says, "I'll give you 10 grand down," but Larry didn't even have the 15 to buy this thing. So he's got a buyer, but what does he do? He did the right thing and called me. Remember that. Because I tell people what I do. I tell people what I do. You got a kinky deal, you need some money, come see me. We'll see. I got money. It might not be mine, but that doesn't matter. I got money. We'll make something happen. So I actually did this one in my IRA, but basically he flipped it to me and made a quick 10 grand. I did the owner finance. Y'all know how to use a financial calculator? This is the note that the buyer has. House cost 40, he gave me 10 grand down, so he's got a $30,000 note. I charge him 10% for 30 years, and that's his payment. That's the actual note, right? Well, what have I got in it? I've only got 15 in it. I paid 25 and I already got 10 back. So I've got $15,000 in that note. How we doing? You wasn't said 21% something? Awesome. I got it right there. And I'm just a note holder. They paid me good, but it wouldn't scare me if they didn't. Because I've only got $15,000 in this thing. But I've had that note for probably 5 years. Guy pays every month. He puts it in, my IRA checkbook LLC. It's got a bank account. And I gave him deposit slips. He puts it in there every month. Yeah, it's actually, the guy bought it for his mom. He doesn't even live there. He puts the $10,000 down, and he pays the payment every month because his mom didn't have any money and she lives there. So he is a cool guy. He had to come to me for a verification of mortgage because he was buying a house for him and his wife. But this is off record. This is a real live loan. And so I had to provide the information to his bank that he had been a good payor, and I was proud to do it because he is. But of course, y'all know I sold some of that note. Sold some of that note to a friend of mine who thinks 10% is good. So this is how we split it. We got 50-50, right? Now I'm at 31%. You can make a deal at 15%, and you can sell half of that deal for less. Your rate of return goes way up. Does that make sense? That's how you get the high rates of return. You don't normally just run into 20 and 30 and 40% deals. It really comes from leveraging other people's money on a deal that you've got that's already good, but you just don't crank it some more.
Repeat what you just said on those numbers. Repeat what you just said on those numbers. If you don't mind.
Let's say if I can make 15% on a deal, if I sell half of that deal to somebody at a yield of 10, my yield goes up.
10, yeah, like 2.5, basically.
This is a note I bought. Y'all know Adrian? Hard Money, Adrian, that owns money here. I bought this note from her. It's a real deal. You can ask her. This is on a church right here in Columbia. And they had borrowed money from one of Adrian's clients. I think it started at 45. I don't remember the original loan balance. It was like 3 years into the loan when I bought it. And the face value was $40,000 was left on the loan. But I negotiated a discount to 36 grand. So I'm buying a $40,000 loan balance for $36,000. So the face value of the loan is 10, but I'm making 16 because I bought it cheap, right? Everybody get that? All right. But of course, I'm going to crank it again. And I sold a lot of that loan, 60% of it, to somebody that likes 10%. I love those people like 10%. They're my friends. So now I'm up to 24. Does that make sense? Y'all see what I'm doing here?
Oh, yes.
It's a little bit of work, but it's better than trying to get that $2 billion. Like, I really do a little bit of work to be able to get by on the $800,000 in assets. Remember that sheet? Investors, where do we find them? Right here. There's money in this room. You put me on that list. Might not be my money. Your friends, groups you join, networking. Why did I get that note deal? Because I stood up in front of people like Adrian and I say, I buy notes. I don't really buy notes. I'm just like, hey, talk to me. I did buy a note. I actually like a note. And that note there was it's a church in Columbia, and if you went and looked at it, like, I don't know how to appraise a church, but it's worth more than $36,000. It's a whole great church, you know. And it was a church startup. I think when I bought the note, there was like 40-something members of the church, and they're up to like 100. They're paying more now than they need to pay me off quick. What's that do to my yield? I like it. I like to tell everybody, this is my favorite part of the story. They pay me religiously. Everybody, I don't want it. I wish they would. I got so much collateral. Who's going to foreclose on a church? Straight to hell. No pass and go. $200. Tell people what you do, even if you don't do it yet. Yes. Tell people what you do, even if you don't do it yet. It's all about knowing people. When I lost all my money, it was the friends I had that got me back on my feet. And not by giving me money, but by doing deals with them. I never would have made it without them. I would have had to get one of them jobs. I would have committed suicide or something. Networking, helping people. Why am I speaking here tonight? I ain't got no product to sell you. And Bob talked about my coaching program, but I don't have any room in my coaching program. I don't want any money from y'all. Really. I believe that when you give to people and you help people, it comes back around the horn. It comes back around the horn. Go out and be nice to people. Be nice to people in this room. Go to all the meetings. Network with everybody. You want to hear how I get money? Let's say you're at some football tailgate or wherever you're at, right? And there's a bunch of people sitting around having a cold beer. And the guy says to you, hey man, how's it going? How's your real estate business going? You go, oh man, it's really doing good. Me and my investors are doing really well. You know, and the guy said, you got investors? You go, yeah. And then you go, did you see that game last week with the Seahawks and they fumbled that ball in the end zone? And you just quit talking. And then he'll ask you again, like a week later, he'll say, yeah, maybe you're saying something about that real estate, but you got investors. And you got room to be in that? Say, I don't know, man. It's complicated. It might not be for you. It works. If you chase money, you will never get nothing. You need to be chased. Also, when you chase money, how are you going to do when you want to give them 10%? You want to bargain every time? Or do you want a position where maybe they can get in? Maybe. I don't know. I got a lot of investors, there's plenty of money, you know, I don't know, there might be room for you. We'll just have to see, you know, but when we do it, it goes pretty fast. That's the total opposite. I never take anybody to lunch, people take me to lunch. I just talk about my business. Business is going great, me and my investors are doing really well now. Really well. That's all I do to get money. That doesn't happen overnight. But you want them to come to you. That is the posture to be in. You go asking people for money, first thing they do, get your wallet and hide it. You want to take somebody to lunch, they think you're going to try to give them an Amway or whatever. You want them to come to you. You just portray yourself as a real estate investor, talk about what you do, talk about your fabulous deals, everything that's going on, and all that, and talk about your investors. Your investor right now might be the guy that buys your deal, or it might be Bank of America. I mean, you got invested somewhere if you're doing something, you're getting money somewhere. You know, or if Adrian loans you money, or whoever. But that's the way to do it. Make them come to you. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
You can't go get money. You just dangle yourself out there like a carrot and make them come to you. I think this is the end. Is this the end? Yeah. Zig Ziglar. You can get everything in life you want if you help enough people get what they want. I am not greedy with my investors. I take care of my investors. There are times when my deals go over budget. I know you're shocked. But there are times when my deals go over budget, and then at the end, I'm looking at what my investor makes, and I just don't tell him. I just eat it. Depends on how we've been doing together. I take care of my people, because they take care of me. They allow me to live this life the way I want to live it, and not be beholden to the banks and worrying about all that stuff. So I make sure that they do well. If you can get the rep, somebody that people can come to for safe investments, you get all the money you want. It's scary how much money I can get. But I tell you, I was telling Bob at dinner, it will really sharpen you. When you do a deal with a bank, and you borrow $100,000, and then you pay it back and make your payments and all of that, they don't care how you did. They just got their money back. That's all they ever wanted. If you do a deal with an investor and you're splitting it, you won't take a flyer on something. You will only buy good deals. It really sharpens your game. It really does. It's good for you. Good for you. Let everyone know that you have money, even if you ain't got none. You know, that's what I'm doing right now. This is how this works. Y'all come to me for money. If it's a good enough deal, we'll make it happen. And think. Don't just run and do the first thing that comes to mind and wholesale that thing without thinking. Say, is there room for me to keep a piece on this? Let's say you were wholesaling a bunch and you done made $200,000 this year. If you make any more, Sam's going to get 30-something% of it. If you got a wholesale deal and you were going to sell it to somebody who was going to rent it, why can't you just keep a piece? Give it to them at par. Keep a piece. You know what I mean? Think. How can I get it? How can I get it? Can I go back to that first slide? I want to make $10,000 a month. And right now I'm making $1,000 a month off the 2 rentals I have. How do I get it up there? And it doesn't happen without you thinking about it. We're big when the teaching organization I'm in, we're big about having a whiteboard and having your goals on there and everything. And I know that's $10,000 a month. And then you make a line, okay, I just did a deal, it makes $250. Now $97.50. Whatever you focus on, that's what happens. That is it. Not too bad. I didn't run too long, Bob. My name is Ken Holmes. My phone number 803. Only to be used when you need money. 803-730-3615.
Again.
803-730-3615.
Name?
Ken Holmes.
Yes. Wholesalers, I am indeed a rehabber. Put me on your list, Ken at thehomescompany.com. TheHolmes company.com. Always looking for something to rehab. Bob, thank you for the opportunity.
Can you repeat the email, please?
Yes, ma'am?
Can you repeat the email, please?
No. Ken at the, which is THE, Holmes, HOLMES, company.com.
Thank you.
Just think of the words, thehomescompany.com.
If I had, I got that email when they came out with email back in the dark ages. If I'd known how many times I was going to read that out, if I made it short, it would have been THC.
You probably get a lot of calls.
That might not have been the best business.
You probably sell that address though.
I know. I should have got the website back then. Now that cannabis is.
Thank you, Red.
Did you send you my biggest fish? I actually sent him the ice box. We talked about it. I told him about He's like, Can you believe it's true?
LLC
But say I'm the first house I bought it under market value, and that was the first house I bought. Say I flipped it, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. This person under contract wasn't sitting
That's what I'm doing. Four-year plan. Place where you got it's a time.
I think so.
I'm not as responsive on the phone, so they're not just because I've some people do email is a better way. Email, I'll see it's something. I don't mean to be mean.
No, I know.
I got students.
I mean, when they wrong numbers, I got a lot of driving around the area. There's one mortgage.
Says if they don't usually a mortgage is associated with in my situation is associated with the JV. If they don't perform on the JV, I'm foreclosed on them. If they don't perform, the main thing is title property.
Right now,
That's what everyone says they have a mortgage, but really, the bank has a mortgage, according to the thing, you've got a note. Usually, the buyers
How you doing, man? What's your name? So that includes buyers. That bad.
actually, we're not
That's the problem with everybody. How much do you make? You got to first look at the house and say, is the investment Google category.
I think between Valentine's and Chapel, I live off $3 Sounds good on paper.
For me, it's my plan is cash flow, not even a lot. Maybe but I have a contract and I have all my money out.
Find somebody to take 10 and then we give you 25, and then that's it. And then pay them some. And then you get the rest of
my first plan, what I'm gonna try to do first, I'm willing to do that. I'm gonna try to do first this time. Once I get under contract. So if I take 7,000, get another 7,000, and I know I can
Go home and do this. Go home and do the actual cap.
like 10,000.
Take your debt out. How much you buy out?
3 to 5 years.
What is my and it's high, you can raise money, you can keep raising money. You have to be well. So I challenge you to, if you can get just to see what kind of right now, you've got the data. This is when I figured it out. When I ran problems and I had all their numbers. So that's how you used to be with like 120 Back in the day, you could assume if they said too much money, let you do it. So Don would go out the priority gate and would be a house, and they wanted to list it. He'd go, well, list at 60, 65.
And then after the fees and everything, you're gonna net about $55,000.
Yeah, a lot of people. I bought 2 houses. One of them. I noticed a lot of people, so I started seeing every single one of them. Like my niece, everybody puts their information on there, and you ain't got to have a phone number or be on the phone. Just connect to them on Facebook. It's so easy. Access to my stuff. Facebook is so much easier. You don't have to.
It's harder to reach. You can't get it for now when you're doing that, look for good people.
We've been posting while we've been in.
That might be a second step.
That was that one that I got talked about over there. For it says it's worth 125.
It only makes sense.
I know. I don't have the address.
It's going to get worse every time. As you closer you get to free and clear, the worse the rate of return. And now you got more money.
Somebody knows this my house, and you're not on here, they're probably going to take they're probably, somebody like, the only way me being here is the way I get it. Is you being cash
Yes.
Are you on that cash fire?
Email is best. I get enough people calling. Just kidding. Yes. Right now, it's just busy. I got one more. And I've got another storage facility under contract. That's what's hard right now. First of all,
But just keep in touch. Keep coming here.
Jim, I'm glad you can do that. It's funny because let me show this to you real quick. If you go to MidlandsREIA.com, okay, in fact, I forget how many, okay, I'm looking for, okay, just let me, oops.
Thank you, Bob.
Oh, Ken, thank you, it's a great.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. I enjoyed it. I did good on time too. I had no clue. I have no long how long I was going.
You did great on the talk. Forget the talk.
Yeah.
You did great on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That's a lot of value.
Yeah.
I was telling him I got to work on my solo 401k. That's where I'm at right now. That I need to get that going.
Yeah.
Because
that's the future right there.
Yeah.
John Hire is all about the solo 401k.
Yeah.
Rules are simple. You can shove a lot of money in there too if you've got some.
Yeah.
If you have a little business, you can shove a lot of money in that thing, way more. I mean, on an IRA, you can put in $5,500 or whatever it is.
Right.
You can shove 50 grand in that thing a year.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, since it's just me and my husband, I qualify for that, and that way I can get a loan on it.
Right.
And start, help with that at the beginning. So yeah, that's gonna be my next step. Yeah.
Good deal.
That was good information. Yeah, tonight.
Thank you again.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Let's do lunch sometime if you have time. I'd love to
Let's
have
do
lunch.
it. I'm super busy right now. I've got another storage facility under contract, and I actually have 3 rehabs going, which is more than I want.
Okay.
So give me a month or something to calm down. But yeah,
I know you're busy.
Great. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You did want to talk about storage facilities, and I actually wasn't, I hadn't thought about it.
Okay. I'm looking for, right here, select videos and audios. That's all I've done there. If you look there, you see I have them listed. This is where I've been listing them. I don't have all of them, because I didn't start doing it until, okay? So this is the ones I have right now, and I'm going to add tonight's to here, assuming the recording's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, that's how you fall.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Not sure how well it
Go to this website. Go to the storagerebellion.com. Yeah, storagerebellion.com or something like that. Or you can look him up on Facebook. But that's a friend of mine, Mike Wagner. He teaches people.